とだけ開いたね。まあでもあそこが開くだけでね、シャワーの一番強いところにいられないからな。いや強い。リケさん？ちょっとリケさんがこの試合神がかってるよ。ちょっと乗ってきてる。ああ、シャイコ負けたか。いやーでもカメラ壊せてる。いやこれプラントいけんじゃない？ガス管壊してたよね。プラントにはいけるが、リケさん？お疲れ様です。山野智三でございます。というわけで今回もレインボーシックスシージ X トップリーグの振り返りやっていきたいと思いますが、 EML でございます。4日目になりました Day4。まずは現状の順位確認しておきましょう。この試合の前の段階ではバータスプロが非常にいい試合展開を見せています。オーバータイム一度ありますが3連勝で8ポイント。そして G2 も同じく3連勝で8ポイントと並んでいて、ストンプを加入させたことで、ちょっとどうなのっていう風に言われていた G2 もしっかりと成績を残しています。そして相変わらず安定感のあるシークレット。そして初戦で敗れましたが、じりじりと勝利を重ねているファルコンズは続いています。以下 BDS、フナティック、マチコ、ウルブズ、ジェンジー、ワイルドという形で、ちょっとジェンジーとワイルドはどうなのかなっていう感じはしてますが、BDS、フナティック、マチコ、ウルブズあたりはそんなにそこまで差はないかなという印象を受けています。このあたりから取りこぼしも増えてくるだろうという戦いになると思うんですが、マッチアップはこちらです。ファルコンズはウルブズと、バータスプロはマチコと、シークレットはフナティックと、G2 は BDS という形になりましたので、上位4チームは直接対決なしという形になっていて、取りこぼさないようにここは戦いたいよねという感じになっています。そして、ボトム2の戦いはジェンジーとワイルド。ちょっとこれ生き残りをかけて、是が非でも3ポイントが欲しい戦いになりますよね。結構オーバータイムになっちゃうと、お互いに足の引っ張り合いになるかなという展開となりますが、さあどうなったんでしょうか。第1試合からご覧ください。ちょっとね、びっくりするぐらいのリケのパフォーマンス第1試合見れますよ。それではどうぞ。
ファルコン
ズはバータスプロ終わってるからな。あとはしっかりと取りこぼしなく取っていく感じだよね。さつきさんこんばんは、久しぶりじゃないか。いらっしゃい。いやーウルブズマジで頑張ってほしいんだけどな。俺10チームの中で一番ウルブズを応援してる。ただね、ちょっとストロングポイントがないんだよな。思った以上にチームが仕上がってない。ケンドリがもうちょっと仕上げてくるかなと思ったんだけどね。
little bit of skin. So from here, it's not looking too bad, but I think Wolves have done a great job of running this clock down.
Yeah, not too bad at all. 1 minute 15 left on the clock. So for Falcons, from the opposite perspective, they don't need to start panicking just yet. They do have time. The hatches are open. That is not going to help them though. Tyrant managed to find solid off. It's the Ash, so the utility isn't a problem. But 4 versus 3, a minute left on the clock now. Falcons need to start moving and clearing some of this utility inside, because otherwise Wolves, they're just going to sit behind it. They're just going to hold them angles. They're going to let Falcons try to do the heavy lifting.
ちょっとしんどいぞこれ。
Definitely a bit of prep going into this one, because honestly, again, I speak about a dock could be a lot for this team. I really think it would have helped them clear this map out a bit quicker and at lower risk. So far, they've just paid the price. Admittedly, a run out being one of them. The second one, of course, that you saw a second ago. Not really much you can do to call your way around those ones, Tim. But they are being picked apart. One of the ways aggressive play can be so effective is you punish players on the attacking side by taking away critical utility as they get near the site. There's very little vertical destruction that's gone on, it's worth noting. However, they've dropped themselves towards Church here, Tim. Got themselves the main wall being opened up in this 3 versus 3, but not a lot of time to go. Wolves could do this on the clock.
Useless is going to be dropped down. Sharko finds leader elsewhere, so effectively 2 versus 2. Tyrant manages to find Sharko, and it's all up to Breeder. 7 seconds left to go. Doesn't really have time to be picking his man up. If Wolves hear this, surely they just mop it up. Cracks. It's going to do around it.
Extremely solid and very impressive. Yeah, I mean, again, this aggression in the early round is what's really got them going here. Not very often that you see runouts like that come through on Clubhouse anymore.
遊撃に結構戸惑ったって感じだね。
Really like the Dayma.
今見てると。
Windows to try remaining.
Actually, less soft here, as you just saw. So, to my observers, thank you very much for that little picture to say what's going on that side of the map.
調子いいね。いやブリーで落ちたら金庫きついぞ。
And look who's got it. It's one of your heart breachers, and the second one's got as well. Rex has removed both of them at this spot here, and this has been this big dance. Don't forget over towards the extension.
ハードブリーチは2枚落としたんだ。しかもエース版なんでしょ。
Rex should not be able to get away with these kind of plays in that position.
まあ今更ピックできない。
from him again, another big round for him, and right now Falcons are going to need one of those magic moments. Shako knows, he sees them.
いやー、2人いた
tries to go in and do something with it, but Craig
判断としてはめちゃくちゃ分かるけど今の。
he is the roadblock right now. Gets a triple in the round, 5 versus 2, and Wolves are looking good for a second.
May make it a 4th here as well. It makes it 4.
クレックスのエースは防いだ。
For the ace there, but shut down by users. The dream denier.
スピード感があるね。
All that work done by Craig.
さっき結構オーバータイムの試合見たんだけど、なんでそんな時間かからないのかなと思ったけど、1ラウンドが結構早く終わるね。プラントまであんまいかないね。
Get our rounds night and day ahead of Falcons so far, and they'll feel really hard done by if they come out of this half at a 3-3 or maybe even a 4-2. I think with the way they've been playing, they deserve a little bit more than that. Still, for now, though, they're giving the runaround to these players on the side of Falcons. As you saw, the track from the Deimos came in. Bearing in mind we're on top floor.
Yeah, あんなところにブラックアイおもろいね。ただまあちょっとドローンで見やすい高さではあるな。
You can't commit on a chase through the map to try and get rid of that, guys. It's just good recognition of knowing, okay, the Deimos is here. How can we try running around?
いやこれもどかしいんだよな。間に合ったと思って打ち込んでても。展開型シールドの防衛判定が早いんだよな。でもこれ割れるよね。はいそう。
And Legion and Valkyrie, Azure and Leader have managed to get themselves back to garage as well. We're going to see the construction wall being opened up. So as I suggested, ADS
がきちいんだよなマジで。ガレージの。
But I think Wolves have largely recognised that fact now, and they're not too worried. But they do need to be cautious of it because Likefac is in position to drop down there. As he does now, you see it on your screen at the back, and he's going to try to cause a nuisance. 45 seconds left to go, and this is the time for Wolves to really hold on.
いやもうポジがないんだよポジが。
And it's not happening. As Solotop managed to find one apiece, and they've got the call on the Valkyrie coming on the flank as well. Surely this
なんか
one is
潰しに来たぞ
Falcons.
これ。はい潰しに来ました。あ逃げ惑う逃げ惑うリーダー。このスキン綺麗だよね。日本柄みたいな。いやこれ前に行けない。いやここ取ってたら話変わった。いやちょっと危なかったですね。ちょっと危なかったけどな。さすがのブリーデーさん。安定のブリーデーさんやな。
nastily here inside this hallway, and again just let's seek to try and waste time because that vertical destructive element is missing here for the most part, especially if you get rid of Solotov. There's not tons of options then available to the rest of Falcons to get the verticals they need. Like you're leaning towards maybe the DMR or in towards the Vendetta of Deimos to get it done, sure, but it's not quite ideal. Regardless, things have looked a lot quicker for them, making use of that phone call to ensure they've managed to get control of the map, and now they've got over half the round to work with to start getting control of the areas they need before they can start thinking about the execute.
クラッシュもあ出たメイン階段のここ守るチーム増えてきたよね。すんごいきつい守りだと思うんだけどスモークでよく守ってるチーム最近ちらほら見たよね。クラッシュだったらワンチャン出るのかな。
From Falcons, not overcommitting to something just because you know what that's a possibility. How about that though, Tyrant? An absolute beauty onto Solo.
まさかのクラッシュさ。逃走経路もちゃんとあれなんか入ってる。あわかんないぞこれ。いやでもちょっとカバーが間に合わないか。おお取った。まさかの。これ取るんだ。結構絶望的な状況だったぞ。いやでもあれ味方が犠牲になってる間にブリーデーが祭壇取ってくれたのでかかったな。ここねちょっと慌てたよね。あんまり距離詰める必要なかったのに。これは素晴らしいね。
woke up to the strength of, especially with those changes now. You can't see through the light wall. Oh no! Az's got a freebie there onto Solotov, who was looking to get the jacuzzi wall opened up. It's not the end of the world, but that's a major bite there, and you really think Solotov would have respected the
possibility of
use of Breede to get that opened up, rather than counting on a Thermite who needs to get up and close in melee range to that wall to get it opened up. That's a critical error.
Yeah, that's big. That's a big play. The thing is, you're kind of staying on the side of Wolves. You know, yeah, of course, the wall is open, but the right-hand side of the wall isn't open, which is important because it gives you a little bit of cover if you want to come out of logistics, you want to play main stairs, that kind of area. Makes it more difficult for Falcons to challenge onto those. Not impossible, but more difficult. So, big play from Wolves. They're kind of saying, look, the Thermite's going on the wall. This wall's getting open one way or another. We might as well get the kill onto the half breacher whilst we can. And that's exactly what they do. The smoke is going to come out, just trying to give a little bit of access here to Falcons to get in, but they're not able to start pushing through and taking any control just as of yet. But what it did do is allow them to get those Hibana pellets off and prevent the player from staying inside shower.
How much time is being wasted here, right? That's the critical thing. Like, I was going to say, maybe they baited it. They thought that a rotate wave through, and Likefac has just Falcons effect against him. The players can work magic when you need them to at times, and that's exactly what Likefac has done. Correct spinning round onto Shaiko on that construction window. Takes away a lot of the pressure on that back angle. So now the back's pushing into a jacuzzi wall. Can they get away with it against Breede? They should be able to, but they're in a great position right now.
They're going to plant here because Breede has managed to get in. He's got some space. The smoke canister is now stopping that line of sight. They have to push through and challenge Likefac. Just to get 1, 2. Can he find an ace around? He just needs to find that last time. Breede picks him up. That is a leader leading the team.
ちょっとリキさんバケモンすぎる。全部読み勝ってるもんこれ。CGIQ 高すぎだろこの人。全部読み勝ったぞ今。全部読み勝った。いそうなポジション全部潰したもんな。いや結構ファーストブラッド取られて苦しいんだけどね。BDS やファルコンズ。あんまり良くはないのよ。結構個々の超人的な少人数戦で覆してる。CAG みたいな少人数戦うめえなってわけでもないからな。さっきは地下はうまかったけどな。今のはマジでリケさんの個人能力だからな。この試合リケがずっと強かった。トカレフさん、初めてだったありがとうございます。ちょっとバケモンだね、今のは。うわぁ、ソロトフが全然だね。なんか唯一ソロトフ頑張ってたのに。リロードだね。ちょっと調子を落としてる。
They're looking a bit stuck here, Tim. They can't get into Blue easily either. There's a castle wall behind them.
すごいミリでの打ち合い。
For the most part, can just sit and happily play this merry-go-round against the Monty, trying to pick out shots against players who are sitting behind it. It's not a bad spot to be in, and now they're in a 5 versus 3. Surely we don't see another man advantage going against them, right?
Likefac still on board there, so let's be honest, anything could happen.
突き先がもうペレットでしかできないんだ。リキさん
down 1, he's going to finish him there. As they're taken out, that's 4 versus 3, and it starts to give a little bit of space.
いやー、これはまずい。
Breede working the
人数優取ってるはずなのに、じわじわとラインを上げるファルコンズの圧に屈していく。いや、これ止めれないよね。どこでプランしてるか分かんないもんな。いや、この写真は難しいよ。いや、クロス組めないんだよね。結局上のキッチン残られてるから。まずはトンネル潰さないと話にならないんだよ。いやでも盤面作りはだいぶ良くないぞファルコンズ。やっぱりチームでの仕上がりはちょっと微妙いぞ。これで W7M とかやっぱヘイズとかと戦おうとしてもちょっと無理だと思うけど。あれあっさり。あれヒゲさん リケさん12の3になってる気がついたら。12の3って何？ロックラウンド終わって12の3ってどういうこと？今のもちょっと淡白だったけどね。まあ難しいけどな。でもブレッツのフラッシュ焚いてない距離感の把握がちょっと何だったんだろうって感じだけど、ちょっと早送りしてたから状況分かんなかった。いやこれバックも失ってるからきついよね。リケもねミュート前からな。リケといえばなんか防衛ミュートのイメージあるもんな。
Absolutely unbelievable stuff.
Certainly helped a bit by some of the players on walls.
And he didn't have a kill before that.
No, he had. He was 0-3 up until that point. That's the craziest part. It's absolutely bonkers. But obviously, Rain C4 at the ready here. Tossed over made him correct.
No, damn it!
Not going into that C4. Okay. Almost impressed. I mean,
にょー突破した。クレックスなんかあれだね、電水が目立ってるね。
Certainly a way to get things moving. Uses falls down now. Crack starts his march on 4-3 versus 3.
リケさん？
But no, Likefac. It's that name again.
リケさん？
We can't stop saying it.
今のはブリーディのキルなの。ちょっともうリケさん止まんないよこれ。
It's one of two things. It's one of two things. You either both do it at the same time.
多分リケのインジャーだと思うんだよな。リケのインジャーブリーディのカッキリだと思う。最後はシャイコだったね。リケ最近やっぱなんか IGL の負担がでかい感じすんだよな。ほらソロトフがなんか自爆しまくってる。3の8だぜ。多分反省会で相当絞られたんじゃないかそれと。なんか変な死に方してんだよなずっと。チームのスタイル変えたからかな。チームとしてそこまで調子良くないからソルトフが調子良かったからポジションちょっと変えたかもしんないんだよな。ただそれにしてもファースト取られてやられすぎだよ。
They can't get the jacuzzi wall opened up. They had the mirror window taken out, it got shot out here, they've impacted through, they've got rid of another one of those exothermics. Thank you very much, observers. And Leader has got none left in back pocket. This wall now stays closed. But, please, they've got a two-man advantage here. Surely, we don't give this away. But the problem is one of those three that's left is Likefac, yes.
Still on 13 kills. We will keep you updated on that count. 13 without death. That's why we're talking about it. We're going to just see that wall opened up from Garage. We'll allow a little bit of access from the catwalk. We can take over cash now. 1 minute 15. Wolves don't need to rush here. 5 versus 3. They've got all the time in the world. Plenty of time to soften up sight. It's not ideal that they haven't got a jacuzzi wall. I spoke about the strength of that elbow.
あとちゃんと情報を取りたいね。
Aside from that, Wolves are looking pretty good.
一応分かってるね。
I don't think they know that Likefac. Oh, they know. Okay, no, they assumed he was there, but he's moved a few steps forward. They don't know. This small readjustment here could be what nets them a couple of kills. He was here before.
時間稼ぐねリケ。
They've got no idea.
なんかこれまとまってないぞ。大丈夫かブルーズ。なんかまとまってないぞ。右往左往してるぞ。そこチェック入ってたのに。今のは完全にミスだな。
How did they not know, Des? I really thought that they had his position locked down, but then just running completely blind to construction and punished for it. And now time starts to become a factor. Likefac gets himself back into CCTV to start pressuring the windows. Is there another? Yes, make it 15 in a row. Is he going to continue? Uses finally shuts him down. It's 15 and 1, but Falcons are 2 versus 1 now. 8 seconds left to go, and again the damage was done to the Wolves attack.
いや最後の局面はしょうがないとしてもその前だね。残り1分15秒ぐらいのところで全然まとめられてなくて右往左往してたんだよな。あれ何だったんだろう。いやこれエグいって。いやこれはしんどいねウルブズ。いやでもこれが結局なチームとしてまとまってなくてもラウンド取るっていうのが強いチームの条件だからな。
Yeah, Breeder's just waiting for that mirror trick. We'll see whether it is successful or not. Like you say, playing around the cover out.
Now they'll destroy.
He knows that it's
なるほど。
nothing that they can do about it. That's it. You want to wait for that activation because then you guarantee.
なるほどね。
You guarantee that they can't.
これはカイドテルミットバンされてるからか。第3の選択肢。それ殴らないんだ。
We're gonna try again. And this is the thing. They'll keep on doing the same thing.
それさ。
Like the last round, and Wolves haven't really learned from that.
よく外したね。なんで殴らないのね。殴ってもよかったと思う。
Wolves have played this game pretty well. I liked what I've seen today.
怖え。ここ張るの怖え。ニトロぶっ飛んでくる。
Pretty sure they could shoot this out if they get this one right, Tim. And sure enough, it's gone. Wolves stays closed.
And that is now a big problem for Wolves. Falcons get the opener, and guess who it is? It's going to be Likefac taking down French. They're trying to take over Garage Catwalk here, but they are then going to face pressure from inside CCTV potentially. They have got the middle window open, which makes it a little bit tough. Falcons, they can play around that cash door. They can play to put a little bit of pressure. They've got Tyrant outside playing that mirror window. To be honest, Falcons just don't even need to look at him because he can't get inside from there, so what does it matter?
リケが強すぎる。久しぶりにリケのこんな調子のいいプレー見たな。注目試合よこれ。バーダスプロとマチコね。第2試合。3走ね。これ注目試合だから。オールウェイズやっぱり縦使うね基本。下から抜いて
You've got a lot of challenges to work through here as well. It's very much a layered defense coming out from Machko, and you see the dig behind the mirror and the Wamai. You got the castle to go through as well. Jammers, we saw impeding them somewhat early on. They did deal with it in pretty good fashion using those impact EMPs. You can see always has lost one. Patrick's still got two in back pocket. But now Shepard's offline. Well, there's not much need for those too much more, to be honest with you, unless you're trying to deal with, I don't know, trying to catch out the Wamai, which feels like a bit of a stretch. The Wamai, sorry, the Warden, but that feels even then like a little bit of a stretch. Always on his march up the main stairs here, of course, one of our top-rated players in the stage so far. Lightning's first 2 or 3 games, a little bit quieter yesterday, but certainly been the spearhead for this Virtus Pro team in the stage so far.
Maybe going to need a little bit of support here on the Warden. Needs to be careful about turning his back because
なるほど。下に張ってんのかあれ。
he might just
いい
give
カメラさ
the
ん。ナイスカメラさん。
opportunity over to always to drop that shield.
それは気づけないんじゃないか。
By Dan from main door as well. But Virtus Pro haven't done a great
いやこ
deal
れ
about
潰しに行くぞ。
taking this top floor
ニトロドンだ
control
ぞこれ。
so far. We're 2 minutes
まだ
into
行
the
かない。
round.
まだ行かない。
He does manage to find
ニトロドン。
Here's the pressure.
ニトロドンは？ニトロドンなかった。 そうか、部屋の内側だから階段の下じゃないのか。もうちょっと手前だった。
Dora's got it all to do as well in a 1 versus 4, but for Virtus Pro, it was still that's like an element of.
これバータスプロっぽいね。横綱相撲っぽいラウンドの取り方だった。今のもうリズメ。ここ絶対強いっしょ、攻めで。お、珍しいセットプレイしてる。トライ2。トライ2早い。カメラ壊してたらねえぞ。いや、あとはこれ耐えれるかどうかだ。まあさすがにここは無理だけど一人持ってってくれたからな。あー、なるほど。ラウンドでここの扉切ってんだ一応。もう一回塞ぎたいけどな。なんかもう一回塞いでもいい気がするけどな。
Virtus Pro again, same as last round, Tim. Kept it very simple, very focused. There is one objective, and there is no wastage in this round. They've got everything ready. Even if the run out is prepped for, there's nothing it seems that can be done. Tep will find at least one here. But we're down to the last 10 seconds.
いや、さすがに。珍しい速攻セットプレーだぞ、あの VP が。ちょっと VP さん今シーズン期待しちゃうな。見ててマジでおもろいんだよな。あららあららららら。
It hasn't bought them anything, but believe me, it's not going to get any easier if Virtus Pro manage to pick up the first. Now, getting aggressive on the window, there's an opportunity. That's the backpack.
Yeah, 背中見えちゃったね。
Manages to find joystick. So again, that opening
ジョイ
kill
さん
is
でもああ
there.
いうミスがあるってことよ。
Forward from Matchco. Can they hold on this time?
And obviously the site is quite literally the other side of the map. It's up on the top floor here, up towards Again, the opposite side of where he's been playing
ちょっとやだね。
really aggressive and hoping to punish him in the early round.
ライオンとモンターニュで合わせてこういう浮いてる敵を潰そうっていう算段だと思うから。猛ダッシュ。ウェイター。なんかめちゃくちゃ順調にしか見えないけど、圧倒的なバータスプロの支配力が展開されてるんだけど。俺この試合の結果知ってんだよな。
is at least giving them an edge in this one, but Virtus Pro, as we know, will continue just grinding away. They're not going to be put off by that. We can see the utilities being pinged out, and the most important thing here is that always is pushing forward with Sin. The impact that not the Monty, but always on the Monty will continue pressuring onto off this door.
またこの位置だな。ガレンの位置をどうするか。ガレンの位置が置いてるかどうかだね。これでバレた。いや、ガレンもう居場所ないっすよ。よくやられなかったね。ゴーストどこだ？ロングか？奥の車線か？さすがのダンさん。奥の車線から抜かれてるからゴーストの車線は気になるよね。バスルーム前だね。これは通るんだよね。でもプラントの位置はほぼ確定なんだよ。おろろろろ。よー、強い。めちゃくちゃいい攻めするやん、バータスプロ。いや、順取りができるのがマジで強いね。後ろ日本の国旗あるのかな？違った。日本の国旗掲げてる海外のファンがいるのかな？違った。
to just make cuts to go and the results continue to show. It's not going to be easy to just make those changes.
Well, this is what I was going to say. Instead of having just
ジョイさん単発合わないんじゃない？ジョイスティック単発合ってない疑惑ある。
Tipson there getting a kill. Akui is straight away stepping in from mezzanine to come and support his teammate as well and make sure there's aggression going on inside a library. And now Virtus Pro, I imagine, are a little bit stuck, being honest with you, Tim, because they're like, well, we can't clear these players out from library and we really sort of need that angle. They've run out of tools to make the move. They've got 2 nades in always his back pocket, admittedly, but they've already tossed quite a few nades over to try and get rid of Teb, and they've failed.
And that is now creates a little bit of space. It creates a little bit of space for match code that they need to take advantage of. Like you say, they're less likely now to be moved out of those positions because of that failed utility. But can they use those positions to deliver that aggression, to deliver those kills that they want to find? 5 versus 4, they have the man advantage. They've actually got the opening kill in every single round so far. They're dealing with more utility well there, just taking out the clutch drone before it can grab that bulletproof cam. It keeps that intel on the side of Matchcore. 50 seconds left to go. Virtus Pro need to start making a move. It looks like Matchcore might have actually figured them out a little bit this round.
この展開型シールドどけれないんだったらだいぶしんどいんじゃん。
Either way, this one might actually be the one they get over the line. Here we go though, and he's just, I tell you what.
うまっ。
He's made it look so
あっさり取ったパシャ。展開型シールド関係なかった。バータスプロ強すぎじゃないこれ。全然手も足も出ないじゃん。タイムアウト取ったのに。マチコ。
And they have slaughtered Matchco no matter where they may stand on the map. It is a trade of passive points.
You know, these guys,
今日もパシャの叫び声は完璧ですね。
He is
quite as good as Pete.
Let's tell you what.
Our top of the league as it stands. That's not going to be changing because if this continues, they're going to sit nicely at the top with another 3 points to the name of Virtus.
Let's tell you what. One of our reservers read like
パシャ絶好調。ウキウキピーク。ウキウキピークじゃない。ウキウキリー。
This is an expression that I've not heard of before, but he said, "Keep your hands inside your arse when we are up 3 versus 2."
そしてオールエイズはブリッツ。ちなみにパシャのブリッツは結構微妙だった。いやこれ下がれないよね。このタイミングで下がったらハッチすぐに取られちゃうからな。うわーきついそれ。
Get your hands inside your ass. Yeah, come on.
Yeah, you know, just let them
What
do
an
the work.
expression.
悪意なるほどね。上がってきて、8管理してるぞっていう風に見せつけるんだったら、これはだいぶいい過激になったね。
4 versus 4, and again Virtus Pro just struggling to take a little bit of ground here, but as we saw in the last round, it doesn't always matter. They find a way in that final 30 seconds. Can they do it without Pasha? It's going to be a big question, but whilst always is on the shield,
Yeah.
you know that it is possible.
That's exactly it. I was going to say, look, Pasha's out the round, sure, but always is on a blitz. He's been contained, playing safer, looking at the IQ, looking at the Monty, for example. This round, he's a little bit more unleashed him, and we've seen the beast that he is.
いやーこれボール感あるからきついよね。あのボール感いいな。
Lots of time being stalled down here, and Joystick should have been dead to rights there. Actually, going to be kicking himself if he didn't get rid of that one.
1 minute left to go.
いやーちょっとブリッジが差し込めない。まあでも時間全然あんだよな。
Always matter when always is going to spray down Teb through the smoke. 3 versus 3. No more toxic babes left to come out. 40 seconds left to go. And again, somehow Virtus Pro, they feel like they have time. They feel like anything is possible.
Always
just
ブリッツ
continues marching
合格だね。
through Des. He
パッ
finds
シャさんは
one
ちょっ
that
と微妙だっ
creates
た
a
けど。
bit of space. Shepherd, get that diffuser
いやちょっと
in there.
炎で
There's a
前に行け
chance
ないん
to
だよ
put
ね。
this down.
He's rounding himself in now.
オールウェイズがライン維持できるかどうか。あ、潰しに行った。プラントじゃなくて潰しを判断したのか。いやこれスモークとか抜けられちゃうぞ逆に。そうだよね。
Not going to be an easy finish for him. He knows that somebody's just got onto the diffuser. The problem is where it's Ghost holding him from. Tries to spray. It's a bit what.
ちょっとスモークどっちが焚いたかわかんないけど、消火器のあれ煙なのかな。あそこ消火器あったっけ。ちょっと防衛側に働いちゃったよね。
You know, get in there, faces, get aggressive, try and get another entry kill. They just had the first one in round 5. Back that up with another.
まあよく一本取ったなって感じだけど。
Of course, don't have to breach on towards that main office wall. It is currently electrified away as the other consideration. This C4 from below, I love, by the way. Happy nets this one off towards the shield player. That is massive for them.
Again, they're using that smoke well to hold on.
カレパンさんこんばんいらっしゃい。
In the last round, it burnt a lot of time, burnt a lot of hit points. Dora manages to get the open onto Shepherd, but here comes
いやこんななんかさ、
Ghost leveling things out for versus
ごめんなさい。ラウンド中間でラッシュみたいな攻めするのあんまり見たことないからバータスプロが。めっちゃうまいやん縦の使い方。ちょっと今全エリアの中で輝いてるチームバータスプロかもしれない。ライデクいらっしゃい。エピックがホールナイトのチーターで訴訟を起こして2530万円の支払い命令出たのそうです。そうなんだ。ついにいよいよそういう感じになってきたんだ。いいね。ホールナイトがもう社会あれだよね。社会権というか市民権獲得してくれたようなところあるからね。まあ TPS だってもっと絞り取ってほしいよな。2530万だったら全然足りないんじゃない。2億ぐらい取ってるし。まとめれるかこれ。いやーこれ F ナットは決めたな。これもうきついぞジョイスティック。よー入るだよね。
But match core win.
After getting that system and they give
さすがのジョイさんも今焦ってたぞ。リロードせずにもう入るしかなかったのに。リロードしちゃったもん。一緒にパーティー組んだだけでも連帯責任28日間のイベント参加禁止みたいです。いいじゃんいいじゃん。もっとやれもっとやれもっとやれもっとやれ。
The defenders choose to try to, must say, spring a trap here, but look to be aggressive onto them. For the most part, you don't see loads of it. They've got 2 C4s to play behind. Their lineup, as you can see, is just so dug in. always wanted to give over no room at all and really force Matchco into the meat grinder here just to try and push their way through, but they have got the tools to make it happen, Tim. One of those out in the field right now, you saw it get rolled out there, the sense of Lolo coming out. Speak of the devil, finds his first kill, down goes the Dock of Dan.
Yet another entry kill going to Matchco. If we want to look for improvements on the side of Virtus Pro, it will be getting some of those entry battles won. 1 out of 7 rounds Virtus Pro have had the opening kill means that they are consistently playing in 4 versus 5.
まあこれでバスの車線を切るって感じか。
That's something they could definitely improve. They did manage to get one along the way. Teb was taken down, which is a big loss for Matchco. That's the Blackbeard gone. But along the way, they also lost another one on the side of Virtus Pro, always taken down, so it leaves them still in a 3 versus 4.
いやー、これはガジェットの使い方うますぎ。いや、大窓のロックきついね。あー、ちょっとニトロ早かったね。パシャ12の3なんだけど。12の4になっちゃったけどさ。マジか。
I don't think even he could pull this one off, Tim.
Ghost's done a great job from that double window. It's why it's such a power position. He's managed to get himself 2 kills from there and holding the line that he was onto the top.
ガジェットの使い方バチクソうまかったな。マチコの攻撃のキレも上がってるぞ、日増しに。間違いなく。
Look at the numbers worldwide since November last year, so a decent sample size. Top floor is actually the most successful defensive side, but the least played on Chalet. So I'm kind of right when I'm saying pros don't play there as much as other sides, but generally do see a little bit more defensive success there. So maybe a missed opportunity for Virtus Pro. We're going to see utility being taken away from them for the time being. Matchco managing to get that nade in and just take away Joystick's shield. So that is a big first step for them here. It's going to start giving them a little bit of room to aggress into Ivy to start pushing Joystick back down those stairs.
I already said about it being a bit quicker as well, Tim. It's another round where we've still got all 10 players alive here, over a minute and a half into the round. It has been a slightly more chill one. Virtus Pro not looking to entertain that roam game and try and get too aggressive. Now, Pasha, you thought for a moment might carry on the killing spree, but he has been very much silent. Acme starts out with an entry, and as we know, Tim, that's all the
いや、一番きつい階段の車線先に抜いたな。うわー、逃走機をちゃんと抑えてる。いや、でもダン、相打ちか。
A trade between Teb and Dan at the same time here. He's done his work, Tim. He's got rid of 2 players. Beautiful start.
Yeah, exactly that. Going to take a little bit of damage there, Dora, but not too much as he moves across. They want that Grim there. Grim and Lion are going to be 2 big components in that final execute if they get the opportunity. As it is, they still have them on side, so they can still use that utility. 35 seconds left to go, though, and Matchco need to start creating a little bit of space for themselves. They need to make a decision as well. They're looking at gaming, they're looking at bar, kind of like, where is this diffuser going to go down? Where can we find this space? But right now, I don't think they know where everybody from Virtus Pro is located.
Quite an error and a bit of miscommunication there from Ghost. He's moved before those 2 players upstairs anywhere near in position.
Yeah, this could be a
4v3 right now with pressure coming in from 90. Instead, they're going to have to step forward and try and find their kills. The trade going in here back and forth, and the plant is now going down. Upstairs, Lolo finds one more, and Basha's got no choice but to wait here for the bees to time out. Steps across the one, but Dora is there to get.
ドラも気合入ってるね。
They were going in.
ナイスカバーすぎる。気がつけば4-4だぜ。マジか攻撃いいね。いや結構どっから攻めてくるか分かんない立体的な攻め方してるから。いやこれはバードスプロも多分対応むずいぞ。
Something on the side of the mirror window, never mind. I thought for a second I was
like,
no,
surely you can see
it there. What's he doing? But no.
下からブラックミラーブリッジングだね破壊した。
By the way, I want to give a nod to our observers for that replay that we had between rounds. As we saw the Wamai magnets catch 3 nades and the 4th one hit the shield. Just give a nod to the boys there. That was real nice.
Beautiful capture, beautiful stuff. As always, is performing at their peak. It's just a joy for our eyes. Now then, are we able to see Matchco take over Solar here? The push continues. We see them on the stairs, on the windows. Ghost in position again. We saw how much work he did from this double window previously. This time, the Magnet is going to catch out some utility as it is sent in. Continuing again, VP to just hold match co at bay. Dan manages to get that opener for only the second time for
いや、うまいね。
Always
少しだけどライン上げ下げして。
5 versus 3 and it's the Blackbeard gone. Big loss for match co.
It's another mistake to like Ghost in the
い
previous
や、オール
round
ズ
where
のエ
the
ッジに
losing
ヒアが
player
入
is
ってない
the
からかな
free
りきついね、こ
where
れ。
it really shouldn't be.
いや、それ、いない、いない判断になるよな、それは。
They must know that always he literally got that freebie onto, I believe it was Tev who stepped his way across into his bathroom. If they've forgotten about him, this is critical.
いや、かわしたいや、自ら処理したのか
Dora steps off the plant, gets his man.
いや、カバーが入らないカバーが入らないパシャさんパシャ何キルいったのこれすごいキルになってないかこれ17の5ちょっとリケと双璧をなすパシャっている人がいるぞ。この試合は一人の選手がめちゃくちゃ活躍するね。
Sure, of course, we've got things like playoffs coming in where that can change quite drastically, but it does invite some really interesting opportunities to counterplay and adaptations and surprises.
あの位置だとフラグ吸い込むの？あ、ADS も置いてたね。いや、図書館が硬い。
mezzanine position is cleared any quicker than we've seen it previously. It has been a little bit slow quite often. Dan remains in position.
あ、これ無視するのか。
Of course, VP using the
この位置なんだからな。
Monty
ゴー
to
ルな
try
んだ
and
よ
bully
な。
that position, but that's not going to be the case for Matchco here. They do have the blitz, but I don't believe it's going to be working from office window. It's actually going to be Ackley that's looking to get in through there.
Oh, this could be
いや、
interesting.
でもこの段の位置にかなり手を焼いてるぞ。
The shield is going to be the big driving point for them. What Lolo does next is really crucial. Always has already gone. They've burnt out the player top library. That leaves Dan quite exposed.
うわ、よく使ったそれ。パシャがおかしなことになってる。
They only come out into a 3 versus 3. Ted pulls them ahead.
さすがのパシャも抑えられた。
You're spot on, Tim. There is another twist in this tale, and right now it's the Matchco. We're in a 3 versus 1. Shepard has only found a kill to himself.
シェパさんが今で1キルなんだよ
Now he
な。
has to find 3.
キルが回ってきてないとも考えられるけど。ついていきますね。マチコいいですよ。マチコはワンチャンあるかなと思ったんだけどな、攻撃の仕方うまかったから。ここまでやるとはって感じだな。鼻がむずい。
On the opening kills is seriously low. They nearly get themselves another one there though. Lolo will indeed drop. It's going to be Dan taking out the Ash. 5 versus 4 to Virtus Pro.
Yeah, that was the side of piano as well. Again, Lolo going a little bit too far ahead of the rest of his team. It's kind of crazy that Matchco have made a few mistakes like this across rounds, yet are still keeping themselves so damn competitive. Shepard now falling. Ackley getting one back, but again, to round at that point, Matchco can make mistakes and still save the round. Virtus Pro are, I think, somewhat at the whims of waiting on that mistake to recurse. They get a freebie in the round, and even then, it doesn't guarantee they win things out. Just good play by Matchco so far, even with the mistakes creeping on through.
小部屋にいるのこれ分かってんのかな
He's got so much joy. He got so much joy from that double window previously. It's no surprise to see him perched on there. Again, it just gives you so much visibility through to piano, through to top solar. You can make life a nightmare for the defenders up on this top floor. Dora did manage to find one.
これ上をほったらかしにしていくのか
Always is a little bit low.
ああ、さすがにロングの車線が
But it doesn't matter if Pasha's just going to find a headshot onto Dora, but there goes Ghost. I spoke about that double window position. All he needs to do
いやでも今の下に一気に行くと見せかけて実はロックが主体だったんだよな。この陽動うまいよね。いや VP に対してマッチポイント先に取ったぞ。CS 勝ち上がりチームが。
Kills the Pasha's name. Massive map he's having.
No! 展開型シールド置いてたらやられちゃった。これは練習が足りんかったかそれとも他のところの準備で時間かかりすぎたか展開型シールドも置けなかった上に一人持ってかれる。ダン大パンしてるだろうなこれ。VP に04から入れる保険があるんですか
More than likely, if there's already been a gun battle there, like you say, maybe he doesn't know he's down, Dan. But as soon as he sees a body jump in there, he knows for a fact he's downed him. So he knows that there's 2. So when he's killed 1 now, he knows that Pasha's still stuck in there, so he can just hold him. real big problem for them, and it was. I get trying to get your teammate back on his feet, but they've lost far too much for that opportunity.
Oh, I was going to say, if he gets Akwi there, this could really turn the round on its head, but Akwi too wise for this. He's been on this window a few times, so he knows the kind of things that's going to happen to try and kill him. And I do agree with you there. He's got no choice because it's so early in the round. And now Shepard has gone as well. It's going to start falling down. What on earth is going on there? Always. I won't quite say caught in no.
いやでもね、ゴーストいい役してんだよな。いやでもパスが。いやー取り切ったー。マチコさん。いやここでバータスプロを倒すというね、マチコさん。やりきりましたよ。これすごいよな。いやマチコ攻撃がおもろい。でもバータスプロもおもろいよ。いや今結構どこのチームも防衛悩んでるね。防衛難しいんだな今。うまいモーグリの今のアプローチ。あれモーグリさんまた登板に戻ってない。この間バイキン使ってた気がするんだよ。
player in the region, and I think so far you're seeing that start to cook. He's not quite top of EPS across the whole region, but he's in our top 10, and you're seeing a much more composed Moby here who isn't charging ahead of his team and trading all the time or trying to go off by himself and make a hero play happen. He can still make those plays.
警報機止める人誰も見たことないんだけど俺。誰か止めてたの見たことある？競技シーンで。
Yeah, that's it. I think, like you say, once he beds in, once they've got that routine fine art, then yeah, absolutely definitely. I mean, he already can't be devastated, but it'll just what you'll see is that happen.
それよりももっとやってほしかったことがある疑惑だよ。
Mowgli's is a development arc, I will call it, that is certainly one to watch over the next couple of months, particularly. Fnatic are going to be using that to grow for the time being, just to try and keep the hatches closed. They are going to see server hatch open, which forces Deepak back.
I'm a little worried. We've still got glow canisters up. We've still got 3 smokes in back pocket. We've still got a C4. Yet we're down to the last 45 seconds.
いやスイッチこれができるからな。ガス管壊せるからな。これでかいよな。相対的に能力が上がってんだよな。どうでもそう。ジュース入れちゃった。
Finds one for himself. Now going to round himself in towards gold bars. Tell you what, Tim, it don't matter about the utility because Secret are cooking him alive. 3 kills, make it 4. Jake's the last one left alive. And I don't think there's much he can do here to stop the plant going down. Savage started to stick it inside of the other side.
全方位うますぎ。とかなんか個々の連携シークレットマジでうまいんだよな。テックポーズなんだこれ。ちょっと長めやな。
And keep the attackers at bay, at least for a little bit. Sure enough, now there's a ping coming in, and Sark is going to have to back himself away as that Monty of Savage has started his march on forward. Wizard continues that flawless entry record, Tim. 7-0. He now stands on entry across the league.
Just manages to pick up Noah in a late trade there, 4 versus 3. And Fnatic doing well here to break down this secret attack. I always look at a Monty, and I feel like as the kills come in around, Monty gets less and less powerful.
道理でなんでハンドガンで撃っちゃってんだと思
When
ったんだよ。
somebody there to support him, when he's got a gun behind him, and he can feed that bit of intel.
リージョンでさ T5 捨ててショットガン持つ理由がよくわかんねえな。いくらあのショットガンが強いとは言う。
And you've got Savage in behind that shield, needing to risk dropping it to get his pistol out. Doesn't have quite the same power in the engagement. It takes away some of his potency.
いやこれエレベーターにいるのは気づけ
Great
てるか。
stuff from Fnatic so far. And the ram has been taken away.
Yeah, they saw the foot there of Sarks. They know that it's inside of elevator. Right idea. He's going to see his own feet back on the other side. Adrian taking a little tickle there, losing a couple of toes in the process. He's going to get pushed out here and forced to drop backwards. C4 over the top trying to get rid of Savage. He's dropped not even really well. And yet again, Mowgli has been the hunter into elevators here and punished Sarks the second time. That's again another situation where he hasn't quite dropped away quickly enough. Here comes Groovy though. 2 kills for himself. Adrian with enough to do. This will be a quick closeout and Jegs finds himself
and lockdown now short with an
I could have seen get bullied that.
またテック。
But I definitely put Savage.
大変やなこのテック。
See value in banning away a shield if you're on the Fnatic side here because you just know full well done the shield.
No, we need to go.
Groovy's got a freebie there. Noah's been so focused elsewhere.
メイン階段のアプローチがないからスクエアまで広がったんだ。
coming out from secret there and costing him the entry.
And that's really big.
いや
That's the
ー
Mav
あれなんだよね、
taken
スクエ
away.
ア側から
Obviously,
メイ
we've
ン
been
階段
able
側に
to
プレッシャー
deal
か
with
けるの
any
っ
of
て
those
あれがあるから
hatches.
大事なんだよ
Still
な。
forced off breach charges, which
いやもうお前ら上がってこれないぞア
is
ピ
not
ー
the
ル
end
か
of the
な。
world, but it does put more pressure onto these players to make sure that they are
グルービーが
right
ノ
place
ワー
right
って
time,
叫んでる。
and also that they don't lose their lives before they've got all those hatches cleared out. It looks like they should be fine with it, but it's just something to watch.
あ、どの
Lose
パ
a
リ
drone there to the nade as well, not ideal.
No. It's more about the time that I start to watch. I know we've still got lots of it to play here, but I'm again looking at the amount of stall available really to Fnatic. A couple of C4s to play behind. You've got the tuber rounds.
Tubarãoマジで強えよな。
Occasion to chew your way through. Goyo canisters. That is a shot and a half. Wow! Savage dropping the shield down and getting his head taken clean off. Big ET stepping up big. We're going to pay the price at least on the return back to site. Sarch yet again.
いや紙一重。
Position now across all 3 rounds, Tim. We have seen this. Either he overstays, meaning all of them. The reason he's been punished is he's overstayed, but has paid the price across all 3.
ギリで耐えてる。
Mowgli down his backside here. Only 2 tries.
押せるとは思う
Yeah,
け
it's
ど。
looking good for Fnatic. Deepak did take the pre-rip on the Nitro, but it's going to put it in his pocket.
ちょっと人数少ないのと偏ってるのはき
Ready
つ
to
い。
aggress, ready to
ああ、ハ
attack.
ッチも落とせてないのか。いや、それはもうディーペクさんここに居座る。すごい。柱一本で耐えてる。あ、ニトル投げなかったんだ。いや、それは強いぞ。いや、さすがに時間がない、これは。
The round is largely theirs so long as they don't do anything silly.
It should be.
さすがに時間がなさすぎじゃない？
2-man advantage rounds given away tonight. That is the
いや、これニトルポイーンって飛んでくるね。
We've got 2 smokes, we've got all these light screens,
やめた。
loads to play with. They're trying to bait out the C4s, but Deepak is a bit too wise to this one. Out it comes, there we go. This time round, it's gonna go forward, but it ain't deep enough. Tim.
ROE まだあんの？
That's one lost, 20 seconds still to play, being so
でもこれでいくしかないもんな。
Let's fight towards handoff, giving him the opportunity, and now they're trying to make
あ
it
ー、
happen.
ROE 剥がされちゃ
He
った。
steps round, finds himself another, checks at long range.
うん、あれはもう、あれだね。セキュリティのハッチ割れてないのが全てだね。ああ、ツイスターこっちいいね。ちょっとここは取りたいタイミングだね。
Option temporary being along here.
Yeah, take away for your own games. In pro play, we see it a lot, but I think in sort of ranked games, you probably look at it and you think just used to hunt the roamers. If you're on the chase of somebody across the map, you bring in the call and it gives you a location. It can actually be used as a really vital part of executing onto a site. You put that call in, people have then got the choice of turning their phone off, so maybe you catch them without the gun in the hand, but also it clears everybody off the cameras, so they don't necessarily know you're coming in. You can tie it all in together, but look at this.
いや、これグルービーの位置強いぞ。
We've got smoke canisters coming out, we've got nades, we've got Wizard, however, with a Nitro taking down Noah. Savage is trying to get something going with that last shot. They haven't dealt with Janitor. We speak about the importance of Janitor so often, and right now Fnatic are being able to use that area of the map brilliantly well. The Deimos track is out, nade comes up, but it's going to be ineffective. However, the plant is going down. Can Fnatic do anything? I don't think they can.
They can't now. Nobody's going to finish it. Even with the Glavs not finding the kills in the window that they needed, it doesn't matter. That C4
あとは
is a
ロビ
bit
ー展開
late.
だね。
Problem now, of course, Tim, is they've got this window control. I love that as well.
あー、
They
ラ
need
ピリ
to
に
drop
1
away
本
from
しかないの
Savage and
か。
not die out to ATMs here. He can come back up and challenge onto this at any time that he feels necessary. It's really smart play so far from Secret, and Fnatic, I think, are going to be really stuck to make this work.
騎馬バリアで
Just
か
going
い
to
ね。
put those keeper barricades out, try and provide a little bit of cover there. It'll give them a good idea, but because it's the glass, it just means that they can be cleared so quickly. One.
セットプレーをよく押し通せたね、今の。
When it was really
結構連携ずれてるかなと思ったけど、ちゃんとファーストが飛んだ時の B プランとして、下のデイモスのジュメがコントロールするって案持ってたね。あのフラグ大きかったな。一瞬もうプランター見えなくしたのが。大きかったね。シークレットといえばああいうね、セットプレーの奇抜なアイディアというか、まあ今の結構奇抜ではなかったけど、理にかなったアプローチだった。
on that double door and then look to step across. That's going to be a lot harder to do now that you're down to about 20 HP, mind you. He's standing there like paper, Tim. You can punch a hole through him, no problem here. So I'll be feeling a little bit nervous at that point if he's going to be your main point of execute.
いや、ちょっとニトロで削られちゃったね、サベージ。やっぱ削られてるときついからな。次のニトロで飛んじゃうからな。正面で受けたとしても。インパクトグレネードをやっぱり縦に対してもうちょっと弱点にしてほしいよな。シールドバシとかなくさないのであれば。
drone just being used to open up angles, open up spots down into archives, into tellers to provide that information because they're a little bit low on drone and secret. Only 4 left available. Time ticking as well. The round is slowly starting to slip away from them.
Great shot.
Really good shot
there by Jude to snap up onto Jigs' head. Taken down before he could get a reverse kill back. He's down to about 30 HP himself. Both him and Savage are taking quite a bit of damage in the round, Tim, but they are still in it. But the clock is what's now starting to make me a little bit nervous. Sark's finding one, Wizard getting another. This is starting to look good for Fnatic.
This is kind of what we expect from them on the defensive back.
いや、なんか詰め切れないね。残り10秒でこの位置残ってるのはきついよな。うまいもしっかり置いてたし。なんかフナティックの当たり方がうまいね。ここでもう一回加速したいところでちゃんと当たってくるもんな。攻めのリズム取りづらいだろ。
Kept your entry silent at that point, but I think just a little bit unsure of exactly what was going on inside the tellers, so didn't want to overcommit. But a minute 15 into the round, we haven't had a real coming together
そうか、
yet.
さっきマーベリック落とされたからきつかったのか。これ M80 好きじゃない？
This is where I really want to see Sarks playing this smart here. He can waste a lot of time, but if a drone appears nearby and you know Secret are starting to coalesce, drop away. Don't wait for him to swing on you. We've seen it 3 times so far in this game from Sarks, where he's overstayed his welcome and paid the price of result. Like now's probably not an awful time.
いや、これ何回も同じで食らってるからな、サックス。すごい達人の間合い。今回はいいんじゃなかった。よく稼いだ。ちょっと時間がないぞ。マーベリックでハッチ落とせないのか。あ、ボンで2つ使ってる。あ、3つ使ってんのか。いや、これはきついぞ。ハードブリッジングチャージももうないか。また開かないじゃん。いや、きつ。ちょっとフナティックさん？フナティックさんじゃない、シークレットさん？これはだいぶきついぞ。どういうリソース配分だったんだ。そもそもさ、ノアのマーベリックのボンベってどこに使ってたの？ 2 個しかなかったけど。
I like the next auto canister in as well. Not used on the hatch anymore, so just put it onto that side or again create a situation where it's difficult for them to get inside. Straight in, Noah up onto the desk, and the nitro is shot out as well. An opportunity to stick this plant. Can they get the second? No, but it doesn't do any damage. It's now 4 versus 3 as Noah, after securing the plant, manages to find a kill as well. 35 seconds left on the clock, and Fnatic need to make a move.
Really good stuff there as well, because they've gone deep for the plant up on the desk as you saw. Noah's left them completely blindsided. They had no idea what was coming, and they're still trying to hit them on the plant. Wizard getting rid of one. Noah's the one falling down here. So sight starts to look a little bit light for the side of Secret. Fnatic have got to be quick. They've got about 5 seconds to get the kills they need. Moby finds one, Doom another. This one ain't going nowhere. It's going to be that
これどうすんだ。これ通っちゃダメじゃない。あんなにハッチ開けれなかったんだよ。ROU がうまく機能したね。ROU 強いね。
I like this early pressure being shown in towards open though. Just by having the sledge there, it means that Moki ain't so free to move around. If nothing else, it means that they should be.
いや、これ BB ちょっと強気に入りすぎだね。クロスマルチ。お、強サベージ。CAG スキン。いけた。いや、ここの F ナットも秀逸だな。
Yeah, that's
エフラ
really
ット・フェン
good.
リル本人が死んだ
Especially taking
ら
out that
無効になるでもいい気が
Blackbeard
しなくもないけど
the fuse
な。
was gonna be used to try and clear
カプカンと
utility.
かと
We've got a
違って。
Goyo on the other side of
そういう
things.
設定
So
追加して
you
くんない
want
か
to be
な。
clearing those Vulcan canisters. We saw how much of an impact they can
あ、俺
have.
このスキン欲しいんだよ
They can
な。
burn out an inordinate amount of time. So
レイン
now,
ボーシック
without
スシー
the
ジカタ
fuse
カ
to
ナスキ
do
ン。
that, it's something Fnatic need to start thinking about. They need to give themselves extra time
マ
when
ーケ
they
ット
get
プレイ
in
スで買うか。
towards
俺マー
this
ケットプレイス
point
一
of
回も見たことないんだよ
execution
な。
so that they can burn out those Vulcan canisters. It's just too easy for Jume. You can see he's playing around those mute jammers, so I don't know how aware they were of his location, but he knows exactly where D-Pack is. Make that start as well. Absolute beautiful finish to the round from Jume and Team Secret. This is what I was saying about them on the defensive bank. I expect them to pick up rounds.
ラウンドいくつだっけ？
Well, they're ready to break in through
ラウンド6、ラウンド
and really get
7。
the round moving, but that fell apart. I think Fnatic that are off.
They need
Powerful when it's a
ジュメさん、
little
相変わら
eyes
ず強え
been
な。
opened up and they're starting to zap away. Key thing, of course, to note is you will get so much intel coming out of these. There were a couple dropped inside the main sites itself for the denial, the information if an execute comes on through. But I don't think Evil Eyes can do all that much, Tim, unfortunately, about a Raura stack coming in, the Dokkaebi call coming out at the same time. There's a lot of tools and toys here that Fnatic have brought along. How well can they weaponize them to get an execute done?
Exactly, it's all about efficiency. It's all about efficiency.
Maestro,
And being
yeah.
able to deploy them at the right time, right place, and don't lose them. I'm looking across the side. There's no impact nade. Two impact nades are left available that could take out a couple of Rauras. But other than that, they might struggle to deal with them a little bit. So definitely could be a big impact from Groovy here. It just depends whether Jume A has that utility still available, or B whether he's got himself in the right place to be able to deal with it. We have the Dokkaebi call coming in and not too much movement going on behind it.
また来た。あ、しま、タロン eSports
aware as to where
スキ
June
ン。
was, and it's weird because it feels a lot like that last round. They had no idea where June was, and now Mowgli's got himself a freebie, stepping out inside the spot. Those are two kills that Fnatic could have avoided here if they had better information set up, but Secret have just stepped across and got kills for free. They might have got one back through Sarks, but this round is over.
あっさり終わっていくよ。
And they're like,
5-3?
but after this, of course, we get that extra band coming out here as well. We'll see what that looks like when we step across to it. The Secret looking largely unbothered here. That, of course, that might be the change that comes off the back of this tack time out, but no huge challenge, and Groovy steps forward on the Zofia. All that utility's still in the back pocket, now gone, and truthfully, the battle for that for me is that was one of their main ways to deal with these castle barricades. Now you're looking towards D-Pack to help deal with that.
Yep, and it's going to be difficult to get those Rotero drones into the right positions without losing them along the way to being shot out. So, like you said, maybe a little bit more of a direct option for somebody like Grubik to be able to deal with those. Noah has taken a lot of damage along the way, so it was at least a 50-50 battle. Came out on top with it. Now it's going to be flying through there. Can't quite find his target there, Wizard. And will just bring out that E1D scan, I think, just to put at bay any aggression that might have come his way.
Sure, it's a little bit slower, admittedly. It's looking a bit more calculated. Maybe not quite maybe Groovy didn't quite get the message. But for others, it has been a bit slower. They're making full use of the clock here. And I don't blame them at all. Like, there is 3 minutes to play with here. You haven't got to speed run things inside 90 seconds and pay the price for it. C4 you heard come out then a second ago from June finds absolutely no one. Now we get towards this final 75 seconds, Tim. And my only concern, as much as I like to see them taking it slower and being a bit more composed, there is tons of time left to work with here.
強っ。ジュメさんなんか1試合に1人化け物がいる戦いになってる。これもやられないんかい。大江側が斜め鉄骨で下から見てる。さすがに。
And they've got to deal with this quad wall player.
これちょっと見ないといけないところ多すぎじゃない？
There you go. There's nothing you can do there. You're always going to get yourself pinched in. They try and get the reverse shot, attack inside the one.
あっさりマッチポイント。ちょっと守備硬いね。フナティック崩せるイメージが今のところないが、かけつかむか。ジュメさんが強すぎんだよな。しかもマエストロとかやってるっていうな。
Let's just hold this position, but they need to be careful about holding positions. And, it's fine for a little while for the attackers, but you can't do it forever because you've got a lot of work to do. It's going to be your time that runs out. That is great from Fnatic, though. Sarks managing to get some more of that stuff taken out. Wants to get the just concerned about losing his drone. I think waiting on charges to build up as well, but ultimately it's just going to take too long. Does have another drone on standby, so might get the opportunity to do it.
いや、いいところに置いてある。
He'd lost both drones super early on. I was
これでハードブリッジングチャージとかされていいの？
like you say, gathering those charges more than anything else, and now trying to get the zaps coming through on the backside. This will be a bit of a nuisance unless they can clear it away, which they at least can blow it out. They've got no nades with which to deal, so I don't believe they've got any gone sixes. So that's going to stay there to them and be a real nuisance to them. Won't be able to get that all up because there's no hardware available anymore either. Groove is of course gone. Wizard's got the
マジでキル取った時にその人のカメラにすぐ変えてほしいんだよな。なんでそういうルールになってるの？
at this point can be victory and loss for Fnatic in this round.
Yeah, Fnatic just having to scramble now, like you say, knowing that there's going to be certain avenues not available to them. We've got Savage just trying to hold on to this hatch, hoping to pick anybody up who comes in for the drop. He knows that's likely where it's going to need to come from. 30 seconds left to go. Fnatic need to be making a choice and they need to be making a move soon.
I was going to say, they know where Savage is. He's been permanently pinned out by those Grim Bees, but he fancied himself picking up the 1v1 here. The angle is just perfect. Finally, they get rid of him. I was going to say he was super tucked in, but in comes Wizard with one for himself. Deepet now, ready to make the plant happen as they get 2 kills. Down to these last 15 seconds, they've got light screens to roll out. And sure enough, they shall. But Noah has pushed up close. He gets rid of Sarks. They need to see him gone. And Zoom is now all that stands as Deepet starts going in for the plant off towards the side. Will down one. Will he find a second? No, he will not. This one will get completed just fine. But the diffuser's already down. Zoom, hero of the day.
いやでもこれ稼ぎできるのは圧倒的にウィザードだな。
Now Wizard is going to know that Doom has to come and try and retake that top. He's not likely to win the fight on the hatch. He's low health. Can he get himself around the corner though? I don't think he's managed to get himself just out of the picture. Drops down, knows that it's good. The challenge is going to be here, but a beautiful
off the back.
今のウィザードうまかったな。
got onto the again. I'm seeing a
もっとサーバー側で解除してもよかった気がするんだけど、なんで背中が抜けて解除したんだろう。これワンチャン振り向かないといけない。一瞬遅くなる気がしたんだけど。すげえデイモス5人全員取れてる。
They have to deal with Janitor. Even Raura won't be able to help them with that because they're playing the defenders are playing in through holes. There's nothing that those Raura barricades can do. They have to force this player out of there. Then they can steal off the rest of side and try and get the diffuser down. June manages to find another onto James. He's becoming a personal nightmare for Fnatic in this game. Nitro placed on the barricade. They need to be cautious of that as well. Noah goes up looking for his man, but as you say, he's gone. He's chasing shadows. It's 5 versus 2, and it looks like Secret may just be cruising to victory.
いやー、ブラックウィナー残ってたらエントリーもままならねえぞこれ。
Absolute resolute in shutting down many of these Fnatic attacks and not even giving them a way in.
On
the round, it's not really all down to him. Secret have just shut out a very lethargic looking Fnatic who couldn't quite pull together attacks.
これから先に行けないよね。お見事。シークレット強えな。まとまってるわ。BDS と T2 でございます。いきなり。
They'll be waiting for it in future then. So, early little look from Stompant across the map. Nobody there to really take too much of a pot shot. Manages to find him. We've talked about his fragging capability. And he shuts down the Legion. Quite a big loss for G2 there, actually. Losing those goo mines, of course, build up over time. So there's quite a few of them they're not going to have. Look how aggressive Blast has been here. But it's actually going to be Doki who manages to hop outside and get the kill onto Virtue. 4 versus 4.
You got the sideswipe here, I think, from Drum. Like, it's good aggression from G2. Really looking to keep BDS at bay. And I was kind of thinking there might be a bit of a rush coming out from BDS. There were only 2 players on site. They could have gone direct to site and said, forget about dealing with the roamers. We can just hit things straight here, as VP did back on Chalet earlier on. But instead, to try and play into this full map clear, force G2 back in towards site, and then look for their execute. But it has been slow progress so far. They've only just got inside a karaoke. So it's not quite the straight march through the park that maybe they were hoping for.
Robbie has taken some damage on the stage. Like you say, it's they're down to 2 drones. I think that's the answer. G2 have done a great job of removing that intel away from them. So at the minute, it's kind of like, you know, what do we do? Where do we go? Lawyer manages to peek out, gets himself a nice birthday present, taking down a headshot onto Robbie. So that's 4 versus 3 now for G2. And honestly, Des, I think they close this out from here reasonably comfortably just because of that lack of intel that BDS are working with.
ここはさすがに P4。
I mean, it's a good trade back from P4 onto Loira, who, as we've several times, had an incredible stage so far. At the end of the day, though, Tim, it's brought us down to a 3 versus 3, and the clock does not smile favourably on the attackers when you come down to this point. Frank now down to 1 HP, a second killer trade, in fact, coming back in. Lasmo finds one, but Blaz is there for the trade. Gotta burst their way forwards at this point, and Frank has stepped in. Of course, he's making things happen for his team. He gets the 3K.
So really, we've won.
高層ビルでいきなり攻撃を通すとは。リホスト。もうプランとしてる2分30秒で。
Yeah, space because you're forcing players away from an area and you're taking out all that utility as you do it. It'd be great at dealing with a clash shield, for example. So I'd expect to see a little bit of that. But saying that, Virtue has just dashed in behind the Candelas and he's putting the diffuser down and has made it stick there.
And they're all out of there. We've got a full diffuser plant stuck, and every single player is still alive. That is absolute madness. That is a bank robbery, Tim, of what BDS have managed to pull out here in round 1, and G2 look absolutely bewildered, stomping, as you can see on the left of your screen.
Yeah, delivery の広がりめっちゃ盤石に見られてる。
Lasmo just managed to just turn around, use that shield on the fuse to find a kill onto Blaz. A couple of kills come in from G2 though. The fireback is on, but with 6 seconds left to be able to have time to disable that diffuser. It's unlikely to happen. Lasmo finds another 3v1. And that is that. BDS calls out another round 2-0.
Lasmo 今亀だった。
Just they like this map themselves. There was absolutely just
BDS 気合入ってるね。
50. Really feel like it's still
a
little bit too terrifying to face off against the Think, and those 2 players that are hanging on black not going to bother swinging in.
Just got the glass of Robbie working on that karaoke window as well. Smoke grenades will go in. We can hear the Candelas going off. There is no plant going down yet. Not in a position this time to follow that utility in. Instead, just trying to dislodge and disrupt this G2 defense. Loira is going to punish Freck, and that is a big one to pick up. We've seen the start that he's had so far, but Virtue manages to find Doki. Trades it out 4 versus 4.
Smoke on the door should at least force stomping back a little bit here so far. G2 have held them at bay, Tim. We've had a lot of smokes going off. In fact, all 6 have now been used in the back pockets of BDS. They are out of utility. Robbie won't be able to pop off the same way that he would, but it shows really good patience from G2. Playing quite safe, but making sure there is enough challenge there to keep these players at bay. The last Okabe call comes on through here. After that, they're just going to have to push forward and take gunfights, Tim.
Yeah, Stompen's in an important position here. He's really preventing this attack from moving across that top floor, but it's not going to be easy for him to stay in position. He does actually have a little bit of support. I think it's Lyra that's just on Overwatch. Stompen manages to find the first blast onto P4 as well, and that looks like G2 could be heading towards their first successful round. Blaz manages to find another. Will Stompen pick up the last? No! Virtue cuts him down, but 3 versus 1. It's unlikely he does much more in this round.
Yeah, for G2 it's been a really good, that's a nice shot. Alavar stepped into that on a beautiful pre-fire as well. You could say Virtue knows him just a little bit too well at this point. The only worrying thing is for G2 is Blaz is a slither of HP. A single bullet will be enough to see him gone. And then it's a 1 versus 1 against the Loira. That would make things very interesting.
He's got a little bit of intel as well. We can see the yellow ping coming out to tell him that there's one inside a T. 15 seconds left to go, as you say. That's going to be the problem here. G2 just need to play this smart and force him on in. He's just trying to bait him out with a little bit of sound there. He knows exactly where this player is. He just doesn't know which way they're facing and doesn't really want to take the challenge.
But for elsewhere, they bring up with
the off breach and also okay.
Very
specific.
G2 まあね、高層ビルの防衛にして押し込まれてるからあるもんな。
Freck once again picking up that opening kill.
Anytime soon.
フレック
once
どこだ
again picking up that opening kill and kicking things
一
off
回レスト
here
ランだから今の
on
写真
the
だな。
top floor attack. This is exactly what BDS were able to do last time around, so it could be a little bit of deja vu creeping in for G2. They just need to make sure that the round doesn't end the way that it did last time, but BDS are going to be more than happy with that and thinking let's have a little bit more of the same. BDS still sort of posturing around the outside of the map. We can see, I think it was Robbie working onto the rappel. Lasmo just up towards Shrine window. Needs to be, I was going to say, needs to be careful he doesn't get jumped out on, but if he does, there's a double claymore there. So Plas, unless he dumps that Nitro out of the window first, he better keep himself inside.
Yeah, dead to rights if he dares make a step wrong there, I think. So that's why Blaz is being patient. You saw this from G2 in the last round. Let's not forget, though, they were very happy to hold key positions that they considered to be power positions. Around Shrine is certainly one of those. Of course, the window itself maybe not quite a power position, but hoping to get a freebie off the back of it. Certainly not a bad spot to be in. Now BDS is starting to circle. Again, though, to be mindful, they've only got rid of Alamal so far. You've still got a couple of players dancing around the map a little bit here, admittedly now working their way back in towards site, but it's not all clear just yet.
Robbie manages to find Lyra, and again the round continues to slide in the favour of BDS. It was exactly the same last time as they were just able to grind down G2, but Blaz steps out with a swing and finds himself a double stomp and piles on the pressure, and it's 2v2 in a matter of heartbeats.
Fantastic recoil control from Glaz as well. Blaz, sorry. Absolute magic when you got that vector. It kicks up like a mule. But found 2 headshots and keeps the team dangerously close. Only 20 seconds to go here. Stomping getting the finish kill off with a down. Off the back of that smoke, and now Robbie. I don't think he can do it all by himself here, Tim. This guy's a bit of a slow-moving juggernaut. We'll try and find what he can, but on the clock alone, I'm pretty sure this round is chalked.
Yep, no choice really, other than to just try and stick that diffuser down. Nitro comes out, won't find its mark, but Stomp and will.
ガス一発だったな。まあ、あとブラズのハイドか。
And choosing that perfect RNA.
So 2 of them. Certainly not
もう一回回したところに入られたのやられ方
Put
は。
that diffuser down on the ground. We do see Clarify Dez's excitement there. The new Valkyrie skin that we've got in the game. It is beautiful.
It is beautiful. It's very, very funky. I'm not going to make him a great shooter, though, Tim, is the problem. Sat at 1 and 3 at the moment. He really needs to try and apply some pressure here. It's about wasting time as best he can. And, of course, we've got these step-on forwards now with Blaz, the first to fall. A phone call coming in from the Dockerby, the first of 2 that can come out during the round. This should at least force G2 back momentarily. Alamal's still dug in deeper, and he knows that there's a second player looking to round onto him, now stepping himself away. Just knows that his time was up there. Could not afford to hang around much longer.
Yeah, BDS with a nice advantage here, starting to take a bit of map control as well, forcing G2 back into those tough positions. Lyra is going to be holding on to reception for the time being, but the pressure will mount as Robbie starts to move forward. Might find himself in an engagement sooner rather than later. He can move around either way here, either go through storage or move through restaurants. So Lyra needs to be very careful. He could be pushed from either way. He was careful. Takes down Fret, keeps himself in position, but no. P4 is there for the trade. 4 versus 3. A minute 20 left on the clock. BDS, I was going to say looking good, but it's that man again. Stomping steps up 5 and 2 now as he manages to take down Robbie.
上抑えられちゃってるから広がりがもう本当に作れないから行くしかないよこれ。
For either side and not forgetting the Deimos being on side. The strength of that operator grows, the less players roll, but he's back to walking blind. This is always the danger, Tim. You get baited into it. You see the track and you think, yeah, cool, he's alone, he's all mine. But no, a second player hanging nearby can give you this exact outcome. People's all alone. Stomping gets the golden kill yet again.
To finish, it sounded good, but if they can lock.
もったいないね BDS 序盤削れてるだけにフレックがファースト取ってくれるんだけどなこのマップでファースト取ってくれるのマジででかいと思うんだけどまたなんか取ってる
significant periods of time. They just need to
今度
hold
ロ
on
ビーだ
until that late round where they're going to be the most impactful. Robbie, however, does manage to take down Alamo. That's the mute gone off the board. Not ideal for G2.
祭壇それ
No, I mean, they started out losing the entry in quite a number of these rounds. So they managed to fight their way back in. Blaz certainly playing his part in making that happen. Robbie, of course, stepping away from that Glaz, and he's had a pretty tough half, truthfully. It's been down to the rest of his team to get those 2 rounds on the board. Not quite that top fragger that we used to see from him, at least last season, back when he was on Falcons.
There you go. In comes the first Falcon canister. Maybe a little bit soon. G2 not really having too much of an option because the pressure is starting to mount here. Even in a 4v4, BDS are really starting to push forward using that utility. Stopping having to drop back down drum stairs as well. Freck finding Lyra. As I say, pressure mounts and continues to do so. But they're just being held at bay by those Falcon canisters. Give Stoppen an opportunity. Can he find himself a kill here? He does do damage to Freck. Can he find it's Glasmo, I believe, that's on that geisha wall right now. Stomping he's got his finger in the crack of the dam des that's trying to burst. He's just holding back the water.
He is. I mean, to be fair play to Stompin, he's been bouncing around back and forth around drum to challenge both angles here to keep BDS at bay. Has now dropped himself downstairs and may have done so at the wrong time. Across the water, around the roses, gets the second, and now Stompin's got to recover into a 1v1 against Virtue. New versus old. Who comes out on top?
30 seconds left to go, so we can't necessarily rely on just holding on for time here. Virtue has the case in hand and can play for a plant if he wants to. I think for now, he's just using that time, using that experience to try and bait out a push from Stompin, but he's playing this well, Des. He's burning seconds. Half of the time is already gone. If Virtue doesn't stick this, Stompin really well played, not going for it, but the challenge comes. He's got to win it. Really well played there. He just managed that 1v1 beautifully. He didn't get baited out when the case starts going down.
これ救ってるぞ G2 を攻撃あと2本通ってもおかしくなかったもん。ストンプ来たね超新星。問題はこっからや。実攻撃やろ。予想通りファーストブラッド取られてる。
He was sat on drone there. He's probably dead to rights, but hey yo, almost in March. Virtue falls. Alamar collecting him. They've lost the Capital in the process, though. Not super ideal for G2 to have lost such a critical operator, but you could say the same about losing the smoke team. A very key operator for wasting time on this site.
4 versus 4 does. One kill goes either way. No real advantage to anybody as of yet. Alamar is going to send out the light screen and just look to have a little bit of a push up to the top of Black Stairs in behind it. May now be able to start creating a position to get in and put the defuse down. This is clever use of those light screens. He's blocking off all those long angles onto the plant spot and he's going for it. And I don't think BDS have got any knowledge because G2 have just created so much noise around it. Stompin is trying to pressure with that Blackbeard, but absolutely slammed by Freck onto the stairs. Going for a second, trying to find it. Manages to take down Fudoki. 1 versus 4. BDS on a serious retake. Hold on. He's been on a big day so far, but they're already on the disable of the diffuser. He's too late. It's done. BDS win the round.
It's the initial and Freck even it.
And I'm happy more. It was good. They want
いい試合だな。
Win.
To effectively use your Maverick and just maximise the efficiency of that utility. Well played from G2, but as you say, the Warden could play a real spoiler. He can be chasing them around here though as the shield goes in. Alamau on the Blitz, knows his man is there, has to bring the shield back up, but Robbie is there to deal with it. Blitz taken down and again the G2 attack is crumbling.
あれこそ連携だよな。フルパの良さだ。フルパの良さって言ったらあれだけど。競技シーンの連携だよな。あ、やれなかった。
Either way, BDS they keep on rolling with this with the punches here, keeping up the kill advantage they've got.
うわ、普通に入ってくるやんドキ。全然中の情報取れてないぞ相変わらず G2 さん。さすがです。さすがです G2 さん。相変わらず情報が取れていません。 情報は逆に防衛が取れています。ピンが立ってます。
Still gets his man, Doki taken out. Blaz on low health as well. Not looking good for G2 here. BDS have done this the right way, coming straight onto the defense.
G2 お願いバーチューの次はお願いストンプあるぞこれ。
And then they can go to that third choice side, and they've got an opportunity to give themselves the advantage. Serious.
ストンプお願いできなかった。
Actually.
So this is one. Nepal is out. He shot earlier on back in the first half, but outside of that, he's been very much invisible. He's our third highest rated player in the whole competition at the start of the day. Certainly be showing what he can do this stage, though this game has been quiet, so it leads to asking who else steps up. Yeah, Blaz is one. And there comes Laura to speak his name, speak it into existence.
Loiraさんの踏み込みが深すぎる。
Number 1 rate in the league gone.
ちょっと今カバーがしきれなかったね。思いのほか深く突っ込んでこられたから。車線入っちゃったね。超新星対決いくこれ、ロビーさん。暴れていいぞ、ロビー。ロビーさんちょっと今のどうだろうな。入り口閉めたかったのかな。いや、変わらないのは切りたかったんだろうな。
fraction, a sliver of health. He's a breath away from death, and G2 now are on the hunt. They're looking for him. They know roughly where he is. Inside of storage, he manages to hit a beautiful shot through the software. Des, this is a 1v2.
They've got a Deimos trap. They can find out where he is here. That's what I was going to say. Pause for a moment, guys. You've got over a minute to play with. Get the track on. Now you know exactly where he is. You can try and shoot to the software if you really want here, but that should open up your other players to go and make a plan happen. The problem is they haven't got the diffuser, and no way does Loira potentially just did this, and then comes Doki. You were worried
closer. You need to come out.
惜しかったね、今の。
Of P if they're for what came after that diffuser going down and BDS were able to hit them on the retake. If they're a bit more prepared, then maybe they could have done something. But no, again, I feel like G2 have just gone in ahead of themselves. They're not aware of P4 who just shoots Alamo in the back. Your blitz is gone. The tip of the spear is taken off. And G2 now on the back foot.
先に閉まってから右なんじゃない？
Lock it off. Don't give them away back into terrorists. That's all well and good. But I think it's just the expectation that they could charge and carry on rolling on through without any response. A bit of a catastrophic one because, as you say, they lose that tip of the spear. It's 5v3 to BDS. They should not be giving away this kind of multi-man advantage situation. This is going to be a 5-5.
Yeah, you would expect so at this point. 5 versus 3 now. Looking at who you've got to create an opportunity to execute onto site, you don't really have much utility that's going to help you to do that. Doki's got one Claymore left in hand. Your blowtorch from Maverick isn't really going to do much. You're focusing on those Raura gates, really, if you want to create an opportunity to put the diffuser down. So with 1 minute 15 left to go, I think for the time being at least, G2 need to focus on finding some kills here. They've got to level things up, maybe get themselves a man advantage, keep stomping on the board so they've got that utility to play behind if the opportunity presents itself. But first and foremost, treat this as if you've got to get all 5 kills.
Get the finish off at the very least, but I think as you say, Tim, you're very right. They've got to get all 5 here between the 3 of them. Probably being a bit of a consolation prize for the slaughter that took place over towards this side of the map, because now you've got to deal with the setup coming out from the side of BDS. They've got themselves locked in here. Obviously in a spot where maybe you're starting to consider that potentially they've got to have the Maverick outside to go and deal with the electrified reinforced wall. Like it's so ugly to deal with. Blast gets one more back though. Suddenly again, you're starting to ask that question, what if, Tim? Just what if?
The problem they've got is Stomper's not in a great position here because he's on the other side. You can see his silhouette there. Because he's out in drum, they're not going to have access to that utility. He has to come across that area that's being held by BDS, and it's going to be tough to create that safety. However, Blazza's really created some space with a double kill. He's going to start putting the diffuser down. BDS see him and are able to stop it. That leaves Stomper with no opportunity to do anything other than grab that diffuser and try and put it down. It's an easy finish for Pete.
危なかったけどね。正直。ファーストブラッドイージーに取れた割には。
So yeah, I think going on.
今のいい面白いチームが多いって思いますけど、友蔵さんはどう思いますか？なんか実力が拮抗してるから見てておもろいかなと思う。チームとしておもろいなと思うのはバータスプロとマチコかな。それ以外はなんかどっこいどっこいで、ファルコンズもそんなに調子がいいわけじゃないから、なんかチームとしては相変わらず個人技前に押し出すから、やっぱそれ限界ないかなっていう気はすごいしてる。シークレットは相変わらずいいね。シークレットが連携はいいね。なんかミクロの連携はシークレットが一番いいけど、なんか勝ちきれないんだよな。まあ今日は勝った。ユーザー初めてじゃったりだと。じゃあどこのリーグが一番面白いかって言われたらやっぱブラジルかな。スピード感とクオリティが違いすぎる。
does manage to pick up Lasmo 4 versus 4. We've got a little bit of bullying going on with Alamo on that shield, and that's what G2 need to do. If you're going to take away the hard breaches, fine, but we've now going to abuse the shields. We're now going to abuse what you have left us. 3 versus 3 as Alamo manages to find one. Blaz comes in strong again, taking down Freck. 1 minute left to go. G2 have somehow set opportunity.
Look at Weir's as a win round.
いや、これ中タイムアウト取りづらかったよね、BGS としては。5-6でしょ。まあまあ、ここでタイムアウト取るわな。
It's more wanting to force players out of VIP.
今の攻めはすごい好感が持てるというか、リソースを集めて1点突破するっていうのはバートスローもやってたから全然ありだと思うんだよね。
But Nano's gone down too early on. Again, you heard Leland talking about the slow nature of G2 on these attacks. May it build into that. That's an unfortunate moment to look away for Doki. Oh, what he is! The shot is the second! Robbie and Freck, both eviscerated by the Scots. And G2 could now be on a path to win this, Tim. They've got half the round to play in a 5v3. This has to be theirs.
Doki only 6 kills up to this point, but wakes up exactly when G2 need him with a beautiful double. Lasmo, however, says anything you can do, I can at least match. Alamo manages to find one. Virtue takes down Doki. All of a sudden, it's Lyra and Alamo versus Virtue and Lasmo. 2 versus 2. A minute left on the clock. There is time here for G2. Not much in terms of intel. Lasmo finds a third. BDS, they want this overtime.
And they might find it as well. He's down on the deck. He doesn't know that he's down.
いやー、やっぱり俺たちにはバーチューがいるパターンだ。ちょっと待って、今の審議。審議、ここ審議。
Alamo manages to find one. Virtue takes down Doki. All of a sudden, it's Lyra and Alamo versus Virtue and Lasmo. 2 versus 2. A minute left on the clock. There is time here for G2.
いや、これはまあラスも褒めるしかないか。アレマは悪くねえな。審議だったのはアレマがやらかしたのかなと思ったけど、今のは無理だ。今のはもうラスも褒めるしかない。で、最後はバーチューと。でもちゃんとクロス組めてるもんな。6-6 来ました。
Over the top of the shield as soon as he brought it down, but this time it's going to be a slightly different approach. Alamo is the one going up black stairs, and then Stompin's coming in from the terrace door. They're then going to join up and try to push forward and take a little bit of ground. They do manage to get an opener onto P4 as well. That's the bandit taken down, but Freck and Robbie get one apiece. BDS have done this so well. They've fought their way back into round after round where they've had that sort of man deficit. It's been great from them.
Here we go, the shield stepping on their way through. Outside of your screen, they push their way through Stompin, getting rid of Virtue at least on that step in. It's a 3v3, and the cover should now be established for Alamo to be able to pick this up, but no! Lasmo's got the reverse angle, takes Stompin down, steps forward for Alamo, and he's going to put BDS up to match point, unless Blaz can go absolutely nuclear.
He cannot.
紅茶君さんはこっちです。いや、やっぱりラスモがいい。ラスモがめちゃくちゃいい選手。
Well, it's meant that
ああいうなんか状況になるとやっぱ速攻するよね、実それがなんかもう癖になってる気がする。そこで速攻がいいのかどうかなんだよな。
on the attack. They are attacking onto Office and Exhibition. If we just have a look at how they did when BDS were defending, they won this in round 1 all the way back at the start of the game. They were able to win this side, but not the second time that that G2 went back in round 4.
Alamo's getting rounded on here. He's going to be in hot water if he's not careful. Robbie can always get a track on him if they're uncertain.
すごいクロスにクロスが重なってる感じ。
It's like layers upon layers. A game of chess. He really wants to swing this, but so far not being given the chance. And sure enough, it's Blaz to start.
いやでもこれ奥の車線あるから詰められないよね。
A great opener for G2. There's another one. Been in this position. G2 fans don't get too excited yet. 5 versus 3. Here comes Lasmo. We've seen this before. Takes down Alamo. Brings it back to 3 versus 4, but this time takes a lot of damage along the way. Can he put that DMR to any more use? 13 and 7 at the minute for Lasmo. We've also got Blaz and Stompin on low health on the side of G2, so it is not plain sailing yet.
フェア X ってこのチームに BDS に勝ってたよね。G2 にも勝ってたよね。
It's all you gotta do is click on the head, Tim. It's all it takes, no matter how much HP
よう
you've
勝ってたな。
got. But like all the BDS, you can afford to pause things. You've still got Candelas to play behind here. You've got the resources to make this happen. A smoke going out deep and a bit of a spray coming on through. Not a bad idea, as I think it was Doki that was sat just on the other side of that. Loses no life in the process. And now G2 have got to stall things out. Stompin has still got 2 smokes to play behind. There's a C4. They've got enough to hold them at bay here. And Blaz might have a sideswipe on.
Yeah, this is going to be free, I think, for Blaz. I'm not sure last most of where his position.
さっきからポジショニングうめえんだよな。いやまあ階段取りに行くしかないんだよな、心理的に。
And we are going to be going all the way to
さすがに時間がないか。77まで来ました。
Well, one, so really.
Previously, and as G2 hadn't picked up on it, he took the opportunity to be able to use it again, but wasn't as successful as he might have liked. Blaz getting away with that one. A little bit of pressure coming from Alum out underneath. Going to be using that skeleton key, first of all, to take utility out, and now to try and remove those safe spots, try and remove those rotation options by getting lines of sight onto the doorways and making it as difficult as possible. G2 stacked up on that balcony wall. They're going to open it up. A minute 30, they've got time. They need, it feels they need those opening kills.
いいショットガンだね、本当に。
drones though, Tim. They've got basically no information. It's why they're being so careful on Alamar pre-fire and house stairs. And a second ago, when you saw the same coming into the breach, they just don't really have any massive information.
いや、これちょっとウォーデンがいることによってインのアプローチ止まるんじゃないか。
It's tucked into the corner, and here comes that trap from the Deimos as we get towards the last 60 seconds. Oki hoping to try and hunt from below, it seems.
Now or never for G2. Unfortunate timing for Virtue, but the round continues. G2, they need a catalyst. They need a spark that's going to push them forward, and you feel like it's going to be picking up that first kill. 50 seconds left. Need to be careful that they don't stall out here. BDS, they're just holding their positions. They're just using those lines of sight to wait for G2 to filter on in. 40 seconds left to go. Stomping continues to dance around that breach, but hasn't got it.
やっぱり困った時にラスモバーチューの分身がいるぞ困った時にラスモしかもラスモがウォーデンなんだよなあ時間ないどうすんの
Freck started out so strong in this map.
いやー、2度で受けた。お、止めた。マジか。バーチューいなかったのに。お尻拭いてくれるぞフレックが。いやフレックとラスモーがめちゃくちゃいいね BDS。よくこの危機を乗り切ったな。ちょっとバーチューついてないね。バーチューマジホッとしてたよね。
He's actually going to pick up the first kill onto Skies. Fresh picked up that he's got the worst entry in the league. Well, guess what? It just got worse. He gets taken down to kick things off. That's going to be the knock off the board. And Wild give themselves at least a little bit more comfort here.
回を抜けるためには絶対3ポイント取らないといけない試合だよな。
Yeah, getting rid of the nut that was a sort of backstab factor, I think, is one that you look at and go, yeah, cool, they got the entry though. It's one of the throwaway operators that's looking to be a bit of the X factor, as they say in the round, to try and catch someone off guard, to capitalise maybe on the naivety of this team a little bit, the inexperience they've got. Although they'll be happy knowing that how they currently stand. For Gen G, it's going to be a case of making use of time here, very importantly. We're coming up to about halfway through the round. They're now starting to get themselves set up for what could beat him. A very, very standard execute here. The fact you've got the Thatch on side, the fact that we've got themselves a shield on shop as well, and we've also got the Capital. It just screams utility dump in here to make a plant go down. There are no C4s available for Wild, it's stressing. Evan did have one in back pocket, may still be pre-placed. I don't recall hearing it go off. There's options to them, but for Gen G, they're really trying to thread the eye of the needle here.
Yeah, exactly that. Need to get themselves established inside the map. Ursa is going to do that now, moving on into admin with Capito. Still got at least one outside of the map, two outside of the map actually. Deadshot and Azox are both outside of there. And what that's going to mean is the players inside the map are going to find themselves very possibly being pushed at numbers disadvantage. You've now got Deadshot has moved inside at the top of Spiral here, just going to be challenged from long desk, and we see those flames burning away as well, just to prevent any progression being made by the attackers trying to look along that avenue. Sees his man, can't quite find the shots. Evan takes a little bit of damage there, but not quite in position to put this diffuser down. If we have a look at the toxic babe canisters, two left. This plant area inside a meeting can be denied for the rest of the round practically.
They've got enough. I did wonder whether those two players are suddenly hightailing it down yellow as they change the way and just want to step down there. Genji looking a little bit.
うわ、この騎馬バリア強いな。こ
こ
れ全て止められるぞ、この騎馬バリア。
55 is where he started. The series may yet go from bad to worse. Garen getting a shot at range, Mass into a second, and here comes that flank from the backside.
この騎馬バリアが強すぎる。
Was picking good defense.
Change himself.
And that's just going to break. But if Evan gets a cross, trick that off, we see that has happened. Thank you very much. It probably came up a second or two before, but I can't see that side of my screen unless I'm looking. So, but yeah, so they've done that really well. I like that again from the defence there. Just using that combination of utility well, get the Zorto canisters on, move Evan back into position, get that tricked off, and again, it just sends Genji back to the drawing board.
It's another case where they just feel a bit stuck. A bit like lost. Where they're trying to get 3 or 4 different things all done at once. Like they've put the focus on towards blue. They've got a bit of focus going in towards Visa. They've got 2 players looking in towards main breach as well. Like I get it, you're trying to push in from 2, 3, maybe 4 angles at once here. But I think it's giving Genji just a bit too much to do, and they're not really getting a lot of anything done. Good see throw from Garen, who's a little bit impatient now and sick and tired of waiting. A trade comes back on the other side as Sneak falls down to Azox. But Tim, we're coming down towards that last minute, and I'm still starting to wonder where did Genji actually hit from here.
Well, it's that same question again, isn't it? How bothered are the defenders inside of side right now? They're not at all. Genji haven't really put any pressure. They're starting to do some vertical work now, but not an awful lot of it. And if you're stood, imagine you're stood in cafeteria, or imagine you're stood inside of big car garage there. You're not really worried about it. You're going to be watching Yellow Door. You're going to be watching for a rear-sided push. You're watching long angles. You know, you're not expecting anything really to push in directly because they haven't got those breaches open. The hatch is now going to be open, but only with 30 seconds left to go, and they're not going to apply too much pressure through it. They move away when they do open it, so they haven't even got it open after all that. They have taken the electrical off, but we're now at 20 seconds, and Wild should be able to hold on.
Oh dear. I mean, that was something.
いや、これ2枚割れてないからだいぶきついぞ。いや、そりゃそうだ。
He's on his backside here, down to a 2 versus 2. Winnable for either side, but no shield up anymore. It's going to stick the spot. And then it's being forced to drop into the hatch here, Tim. Matt's has got to sit there and collect some freebies as they come falling through to him like Chris.
なんか時間かかってる割にはピリッとせんな、ジェンさん。ジェンさん、時間フルに使ってる割には、なんかやれたらハッチ割っただけみたいな感じになってる。そして魂のテック。なんか早いね、これ。1回だからか。
Was, you know, his mechanics, his small micro movements. I never really commented on it before, but there were a lot of little things that he was just doing that I was like, oh, that's actually pretty good for a player that's only just taken a step up to tier 1 as well. Yeah, I like what I've seen. Obviously, the numbers make him look good as well, which is also another thing, but I've enjoyed what I've seen so far. Azox in on about 10 HP, and this time, Tim, we are keeping it very simple. We're going direct in towards sight. No one's stopping at this point. No C4 to come on through, and sure enough, that's going to get stuck. Now he's got to try and get out of there alive, but no, both him and Asta are gone. It's 3 versus 5, but Diffuser is down.
Yeah, I think they've caught Wild a little bit unawares there, but 5 versus 3, 5 versus 2, this is really possible. Wild need to think about getting somebody on to disabling this diffuser. They've got one outside on the rappel who's going to have to come inside to be able to do anything about it. Gets cut down as he does. Evan jumps straight onto the diffuser, and again, this is a good retake from Wild. Acer's down, it's over. Wild managed round plant like that.
ジェンさん、だいぶやばくないか。
Going on and to say that the site is being kind of directly pushed with that wall being opened up. Skaz does manage to improve his entry stats somewhat.
プラントした後のロックラインがさ、一緒に入った人しかいないっていうのは結構問題だなと思う。
in favor of Genji.
Interesting enough to get a kill from, but a kill is a kill is a kill. Goyo gone, far from the end of the world. Those Orphan canisters have already been placed down, so he's a free gun at that point. It's free to roam and do as he pleases. First phone call coming in from the Dockerby, and this is where we should see really Genji be pushing forward. They've got ground that they can start taking here. They know who's going to be where. There's no mute on the other side to impede you. Though for the most part, they have largely sat still in admin there and not looked to step forward and take ground.
Okay, Blackbeard just looking to push in and get aggressive and try and take a little bit of ground there. exactly as we would expect that shield to do. It's going to be all admin-sided at the minute from Gen G. No real pressure from the opposite side of the map, from the yellow side of things.
On the roof for now.
Yeah, the problem with that is once the defenders realise that, they're all going to shape up and just start looking towards one side. So it becomes a real tough prospect for the attackers then, because they're just feeding into a bunch of guns that are pointing in that direction. Mats manages to take out Deadshot 4 versus 4. Pressure is coming from the top of Spiral as well. We see Naquo taking a little bit of damage. I think it was from this Toxic Babe that Boomsy threw in. So that now leaves us 4 versus 4.
It's a timing concern, really, Tim. We've got to see them push in as a group here as well. You can't have one man stepping forward and getting picked off. Well, no more. Scared. And oh no! Uzi's let that one get away from Naquo, getting one back, and he had no idea he was running into a second. Mats stood still, waited for his reload to finish. He's got himself another. Now into a 2 versus a 1 versus.
ここはうまく
All right. And then
管理事務からライン決めて押し通したね。
It's the blitz, the banshees. A little bit sometimes, we focus on that utility, we focus on things like the Evil Eyes, the Banshees, but here goes Naquo, cutting myself off there because the Blitz has just gone in and got aggressive, gets a nice entry. The first 3 rounds, Wild were able to get that entry kill every single time, but Gen G in the last 2 have been able to get themselves with a much better start to kick things off.
I like how there's an immediate response to what the drone saw. Blitz, sorry, there's an enemy here, Blitz is in, go, 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 go. Try and run him down, of course, straight into a Banshee, so they can't, he's a little bit stuck for a second, but pulls out the pistol and gets the kill regardless, and this is a thing, I suppose. Deadshot feeling is perfectly safe there, sat on a drone, and Boozy just gets his man for free. Interesting.
Going to get that yellow door barricaded and opened again. I think Boomsy just ran past one of the drones on the floor, actually. I only just caught it out the corner of my eye. Obviously, he was trying to get himself back to site, so he's not going to worry about taking it out. But it is just maybe a missed opportunity to take out a little bit of utility. But the pressure is going to mount from this backside now. The Blitz is continuing to rush on through, just taking ground, opening this wall through towards security as well. And pressure is really going to mount for these defenders inside a site where I've looked previously at how bothered are they? I think they might be slightly bothered at the minute.
まあでも、潜らた時だったらサーバー側から来るんだろうな。
for Gen G is like, we've seen it from round start, is they are trying like every corner, every angle. They're terrified of what might be going on. Until about 30 seconds ago, they had like 8 or 9 drones still up, and I'm like, why is there not a drone in front of Naquo? Like, you want him to be the one who's stepping in and giving you a little bit of safety here, but it's simply just not being leveraged the way that they need. They're constantly kind of worried about it coming for a flank. Is there someone ratting in a corner? That's the sort of stuff that if you have 1 or 2 players looking mainly towards skies here, was like on a drone, for example, even Acer, even has a 3 heartbeats for God's sake. Just have someone in to create a little bit of space for you. It's just, I don't know, a little bit strange and a little bit disjointed, and now he charges into his own flash. And into a second flashbang as well. Could this go any worse? I don't know.
何が起きてんだ
Well, there's chance, 2 kills come in. Garen and Mats might have been to get them. Win rate.
ワイルド頑張ってるじゃないか。
3 point best teams at the overtime. Sorry, go up the bid to one of the top 6.
Straight back out of the window there, Acer.
For what reason?
Nitro goes out, not going to catch its man.
Why have they dropped out though? I'm so confused.
Yeah, I mean, they had a little bit of presence inside. Maybe not in a position. I think that was probably the concern. Not really in a position to be able to get that diffuser down at that point.
They wasted a phone call though, Tim.
Peppered by Boomsy underneath, so they need to be getting in there and making sure that they're clearing out Piano, because otherwise it's going to need a full. I think we're actually going to see a full rotate over to yellow just to try and pressure from somewhere else, which does actually start to work.
Not bad. They made the phone call. They made a push on forward. Although here comes Evan.
いや、いい後ろのバッシュ。バッティングバッチリ。
Yes, we do.
いや、いい後ろのカバー。
Making it a third as he spins on
やっぱ縦止められないね。
But it's still a 1 versus 2 coming around
いや、
for the
木を
spray,
狙
but a
っ
little
た
too soon and more pressure.
番だけど、縦が全く止められてなくて。まあでも2-4での折り返しか。まあ悪くないね。この試合鉄鋼多いからかわいそうだな。
Little bit, even with things like the Blitz on side who naturally wants to go fast here, they can't really afford to do that because they just don't know what they're diving into.
They'll just be getting back on the drones. Wild now choosing to do that due diligence and make sure they're aware of everything going on. Nitro goes across, going to be shot out. I think that was actually fortunate on the side of Wild. I think the shots were aimed at Nako as he ran across the window, and because bullets were raining in, it caught the Nitro. I don't think there's... maybe they heard it rip, to be fair, maybe they knew that the throw was coming, but I'd be surprised if they were ready to just pre-fire that one coming out. Gonna have the blitz of Match just working his way in, clearing out a little bit of that utility, but 1 minute 15 left on the clock. Wow, just need to be concerned with that timer, make sure that they're not getting behind things.
Still plenty of time to work.
いや、これ彼女も誰もいないぞ。
Relatively close proximity.
出た、シフトチェンジ。
I was going to say, it's the first time I think I've seen that top visa window.
うわー、色階段真下にいた。
We're not joining, I guess. I mean, fair enough. Boonesy's down there like Assassin's Creed. Heads out of Tori arrives, finds one for himself. Now looking towards the second. He's up towards the Griswold mine. Gets taken down by Skies in the process. But an interesting start there. Again, both teams showing that lack of droning has bit them throughout this game at this point. It's a 1 versus 4 for Garen, that man of the moment. But even I don't see him walking away with a win here against 4 players and only 40 seconds to go.
No, I would agree with you. I think it's going to be definitely a big ask. He's, you know, I've already said how good a start he's had to things here. Too much to expect. He's going to work his way around through copy, try and see if he can pick anybody up at long dash. Genji don't really need to give him anything. Will do as he finds a second. We know that he can hit his shots, and a 1v4 becomes a 1v2. 10 seconds left to go, and surely Genji have learnt their lesson, and they're just going to hold themselves back. They do not need first two, but this is going to be it again.
They're trying to sit right pressure from
Sludge is going to open up that wall and look to move. This is the problem with Sludge and the shotgun. You've got to get it into those positions where you're having those sort of close encounters, the close quarters fights, because otherwise he's just so reliant on that pistol. We did see it for a while when I think it was Buck got his nades taken away from him. We saw players bringing the Sledge shotgun because Sledge had nades available still, and it was a combo that we saw run for all of about 3 days, I think, until they realised that it was actually a bit of a difficulty when you're on the attack. It's easier when you're on the defense to manage those engagements because you can kind of pick your spot and you can wait for them to come to you. Whereas on the attack, you can't do that. You don't have that luxury. You need to go and take engagements. So we'll see what Boomsy does, how much impact he has with the Sledge, whether he's able to get any kills particularly, or whether that's maybe not as successful as it hopes.
2 minutes focus on the downstairs and getting that cleared out. Have now rounded up yellow, left themselves a minute to play, and only now trying to work their way through. About to make a punish guys, fair play, but have 0 vertical control of this top floor. I'm just nervous at this point. With the defenders upstairs with 3 C4s in back pocket, are going to be able to stop them no matter where they're trying.
Boomsy's answered any questions that I might have had. Manages to find himself a kill with the Sledge shotgun, but as you say, while not really paying attention to this top floor, can they manage to work around Nitro? Is it no? They're fighting on the vertical, and that's a great kill from Sneak. The plant is down. 3 versus 3 as 2 kills come in quickly. Look at this from Genji. Ace has got straight on to disabling that diffuser, but no, Wild are now the ones using the verticality and able to stop him doing so. Nako is going to go for it, but again, come through.
Holding on to floor together and sure
2階にちゃんとアプローチしてんのがうまいね、ワイルド。この試合すごいまとまってんな。ここまでのレベルの低いワイルドが嘘のような。
Yeah, Genji for the most part.
Genji がちょっと微妙いのかもしれない。
That main breach, they've dug themselves a bit further back here. Almost trying to invite Wild in. They've got the mirror inside. They've got the mirror. They've got the canisters as well to lock down what pass they can play through. So there's plenty of options to still play behind here. So there isn't playing active C4s and denial onto that wall. They're trying to deny in a different way.
That's beautiful from Skies as he steps out and gets himself one onto Sneak. 5 versus 3. Genji looking good at the minute to hold down this round. The challenges continue onto the mirror window. They've got smokes. They haven't brought along anything like an Ash to deal with that at distance. But even use your shield, extend it, walk up to it so that you've got an opportunity to punch it, smash it, shatter it, prevent it being used. But wow, not really dealing with that gadget fantastically well. 5 versus 3. Genji have just fallen back a little bit. That mirror window has now been dealt with, but I think the damage might already have been done.
Yeah, the sound was coming out from Mats, who joined them on that blue rotate to come and support that push through. 3 of them all working in together. I like at least how Wild have identified, look, we've got controller blue here, this is where our attack starts, and they're pretty much committing to it, which I do like to see. Equally, Gen.G have matched it pretty well on the other side. They've got their kills and said, cool, we don't need to be here anymore. Dig back towards fight, get behind that other mirror window, play behind those canisters that we were talking about. They've still got a lot of stall available to them here, so Wild might struggle to get their way through. Nako's going to find one more. They're fighting against Shadows at this point.
Battle up kit and
やっぱなんか、あれだね。肝心なところで丁寧さを失うのがやっぱり今のところ下位に沈んでる理由な感じはすごいするよね。
kind of the archways that you can play them on. So yeah, it can be a tough one to play against. Sneak, however, does manage to pick up Acer, and this is the risk that I'm talking about for Gen.G. It's trying your third choice site immediately in the start of your next rotation of 3, and if they don't get it, it puts you under pressure for those 2 first choice sites that you'll then play in round 11 and maybe 12 if you manage to hold on.
For the most part, Gen.G still have full control of the basement. Like, they're still roaming around wherever they've won 2 downstairs right now. So a lot of ability to rotate and move through the map quite freely, because for Wild, a lot of the focus has been on that top floor.
ガレンなんか酸いも甘いも見極めた人生も分かってますみたいな渋い表情してる。
That's what you want to be using the Docker before. So it's this battle of kind of
全然
like
20代、20歳ぐらいだ
versus those coming down from heaven here. They're all going to meet in the middle, no doubt, and this is where whoever walks away the majority of kills probably does get the outcome of this round on their books, unless we see a real nice flank coming from Evan tucked in somewhere that Gen.G aren't expecting.
問題はこっからやね。
Skies is just holding his position on those admin stairs. Drone races across will be aware of his position. It was quick droning, but it was at least complete droning by Wild. They did flick it around to have a look down those stairs as they went across. Did lose the drone, but still the intel was gained. Interesting. Now that the Ram is getting in there, just ripping those floors up for free. Not really too much of a challenge coming out.
これまさかの止め方？嘘だろ？
Gets up the hatch, can make the challenge. Can they find the kill? No, but Deadshot can. Finds a double. Garen and Mats once again. How many times have we called those names as a duo that they're able to just find those kills when their team needs them?
いや、さすがに見てた。
5-4 could become 6-4 as we find ourselves now 3 versus 1 for Wild.
There should be an here as well. They've got the control they need. Just got to find a good spot to start planting. Azok's on the move across, but this door is being watched. The player off towards his left. It's pretty easy for him to get stuck down at this point. Azok's stepped himself forward, off towards his left, off to his front, off towards his right. There's players simply everywhere. Should not be able to get away with this one.
For the 4 versus
4-6
today.
ワイルドいいね。領事館まとまってるね。Gen.Gが今僕なんかプランに無理があったんだよな。俺どうやって守る予定だった？サイガでエントリー止めるの？いや、てか上下守りなのに突き上げプランがほぼなかったんだよね。このサイガで止めようとしたのか。そもそものプランニングはちょっとよく分かんなかったな。
Yeah, big player to pick off for sure. At the end of the world, Wild can still make this one work, although it's going to be a lot harder without those green Bs so essential to the execute overall. Again, my eyes turn towards Skies running around, and that Chanka spoke about it a couple of times when we saw it picked up earlier on. Not always the most effective at denying things away, but when you can at long range at least deny the default plant spot, it does deter the attackers from looking in for that standard execute that you might see on this side normally, coming into that window inside sight. So it will force the attackers to have to come up for something a little bit different, attack from a different direction. That's very much what they're doing here. Looking to make use of the Rower against them, maybe, and explode forward onto them. Here we go. And that's the freebie. You can't rely on those Rowers being safe forever, and Matt's just found out why.
Panel is deployed.
こことここ閉めて、
so that is now going to seal off sight. They try to get out. Evan is there waiting, but he's going to be cut down in a nice trade from Gen.G. They are 2 saying we can play the trade game. We can keep ourselves on top here. 4 versus 2. Boomsy moves up spiral. Need to find a couple of kills. Play through those Shumiko launcher canisters as well. Boomsy does manage to get one, but problem is it gives the location away. And there you go, Sneak is cut down, which means they watch it.
いいクロスだね。
But they need
Really, they have. But
what if here?
おもろい攻めではあったけどな。 通ってたらちょっとピックアップしたいぐらいのラウンドだっ
down
た。
into art, take out the mute jammer, so it does look like they're going to be working towards piano at some point, and just again taking out that utility to allow them the opportunity to get in there through the art closet and start to take a little bit of ground, but they will need to deal with yellow stairs. Asa at the minute, kind of just bobbing back up and down, but he's right there in a position to be able to challenge into piano should they start to cause a real nuisance there. We can see the work has already begun on the verticals. If they pull the trigger on this nitro, it is not going to do the job yet. It gets taken out. I think just as they were about to pull it, it didn't manage to detonate. They didn't get there quite in time, so the Bucks' work can continue.
Bearing in mind, there are still 3 more C4s play behind them. Real opportunities that they have to catch out a player on the side of Wild as they start getting themselves set up from above. But for the most part, that work has been done. Those 3 C4s probably going to be having to try and drop off to the more default plant spots here. So almost want to invite in Wild to come and execute and then catch them out with C4s afterwards.
Should be able to get in here and just put a thermite charge on the wall next to that mirror window anyway, even though the glass has been taken out. That's exactly what's going to happen. So, as I said, it's going to be that front-sided push. They've got the vertical control, they've got the hatch open, and you can see the effect that has. All those blue silhouettes of Gen G are pushed back into security and cafeteria. So, Wild now need to create a little bit of space. They can do that using some utility like a smoke canister just to block a line of sight so that they can get in with that diffuser and Evan can start to put it on the ground. Garen does find the opener onto Asa, but only 15 seconds left to go. If they're going to win it, they need to win it now. And the good smoke grenade has gone in. I thought it was a little bit of a miss throw. Going in deep to the corner. Opportunity to put the diffuser down. They need to make this stick. They need to have the cover from the hatch. And I think they do. Gen G have got caught. The cover must be there. No!
上からの射線、今ガレンとしては大パンモンだな、これ。今のはマジでガレンとしては大パンモンだぜ。いや、今のはハッチからちゃんと見てよって思うよな。俺だったら、あれはハッチから1枚、2枚余ってるんだったら、1枚下ろすべきだと思う。やばいのね、いい攻めしてるだけにもったいないんだよな。
Somebody was there, that it was a possibility, but not exactly where. And going in, you know, absolutely caught out there. So that's the Valkyrie taken down, but the class has gone as well. Obviously, the class is always going to be, you know, a big part of any plan in terms of how that plant is going to go down. So that is a big loss with Boomsy going down. Skies does get downed but collected. So 20 HP, 4 versus 4. They do have the utility to make a plant work still. They've got the Candelas. They've got the Ram that can chew up that floor, that can create a lot of noise. So this is still possible.
And they're probably just thinking, okay, now what? I mean, a lot of the attention is going around where the Ram is. It now gives Sneak a chance to get there and look and do a little bit of damage with Spiral. And that's where he's slowly starting to work his way forward.
プロだからしょうがないんだけどさ、真剣勝負負けられない試合だし、実力は拮抗してるとは思うんだけど、展望っていう観点で見ると、3ポイントこの試合で取れないのマジで痛いね。もうこれで10チーム中8チームに絞られましたみたいな展開になってる感じするもんな。
Perfect player name for somebody who's going to be playing the knock, I think. Just looking to sneak on up there.
そうだよね。下でやられてるから、ヌックが階段上がってくるのめちゃくちゃ警戒してる。
25 seconds left to go, and I'm just concerned that we're in that position again where Wild have maybe left this a little bit too late, but no.
こっちが陽動だ。本命は窓側。褒めた陣地。ちょっとプッシュが足りなかったね。寄せきれなかったね。まあ、あれなんだよね。立ち上が1枚であの窓守れるからな、今、メタ的に。
None of them really worked out, and they didn't gain any real access in towards side. So I'm glad to see that change in lineup. But Sneak, he's going to change the lineup a little bit. And look who he's taken. The Dockerbee is gone. That's Nakwo on the bench for the rest of this round at least. 5 versus 4. Wild continue. Streak over the last couple of rounds of picking up those opening kills.
It's a single phone call just to get inside the building, and that second one, as you say, is now lost to the ages. Not going to be able to be utilized. Ace is being incredibly patient here, just hoping that Boozy is going to step down the stairs.
1分30秒ぐらいでさっきから停滞するシーンめっちゃ多いんだよな。
So not the most ideal for them. Oh, almost gets the chance there. Down a half HP, but rejoins his team back on site.
Gets himself into the power position behind that yellow pillar. Now, smoke grenade goes straight. Oh, I like the timing of that. The smoke grenade goes out to deal with the mirror window, and the reflex is there to just take out that Vulcan canister and prevent the blitz pushing forward onto the player at pillar. That keeps them in a good position for a little bit longer. Nice from Wild, but Deadshot above manages to take down Boomsy, and we're going to start seeing the value of that verticality. 45 seconds left to go. Genji, they have some good map control. They need to make sure that they too don't stall out.
Looks like the only charger as well. They'll leave it closed here. Obviously, Ace is the only one with the thermite on side who can do that for them. Also, Plant is being dumped in instead. This is where you'd hope they'd start their push on forward. Sure enough, Plant now going down. They've lost the player on the step on forward. And here we go. Those guys really needed something there. But Garen has stopped him. Plant is down. Ace has got it all to do. He won't be able to get away with it. Wild in the fourth
on Genji.
いやもう痛すぎる。7対7。痛すぎる。これで落とした方はマジでもうちょっとステージ1がっくりきすぎだぞ。あ、いや上を早く取りに行った。バジェットだいぶ上に使ったね。完全に残り1個あったら十分みたいなのがあるこれ。え、めっちゃ地下に引いてる。ニトロセル3つ。地下迎撃スタイルか。
Top floor clearance into account, and they, when they were going into site, they were getting hammered from above a little bit. They still managed to get that diffuser down. So they've definitely, done something different here. They've got themselves in, and they've got that verticality. They can now think about how they get the diffuser down. But I think the difficulty they're going to have here, wow, the one thing they really need to pay attention to is knowing exactly where Jeff G is, because a bunch of them have run down to the basement, and they're not making it easy to find them.
We heard him say during the time out, they like to kind of just play back slowly and make you have to problem solve and really earn every kill that you collect in the round, and it is more of the same. They've got 3 C4s to play behind him. They're almost like, yeah, please come and take it. We feel like we're ready for this one, that we've got the answer. They've got those Valkyrie Black Eyes down. They've got a couple of bulletproofs deployed too. They've got all the tools they need here to stop Wild if they go for a push. It's almost like Wild needs to go and kill them, but they're out of time in which to do so now.
In goes the blitz straight away into Art, but I don't know if they're going to be able to find the room to put the diffuser down. They're certainly going to go for it. The smoke canister goes in elsewhere. They've got a little bit of cover. They're going to get away with this here. Wild have managed to secure it. The Nitro is ineffective because he goes up on the piano. The second does find its mark. The problem they've got now is that they're at a man disadvantage. It's 2 versus 4. About 30 seconds left for Wild to hold on. It is all on this.
ここ勝負だね。2枚いる。2枚のに対してスカイで1枚。取り切った。いや、分かっててピアノプラントだったけど、いや、ジェンジ3ポイント取りたかったな。でも終始ワイルドの試合だったけどね、逆によくこの試合取ったな、ジェンジ。なんとかしたって感じだな。よーし、結果見ておきましょう。ファルコンズウルブズは理系のよくわからないパワープレイで7-2。そしてここ、マチコが絶好調バータスプロ。いやもうちょっと俺、ステージ1はバータスプロで決まりだなと思ってたのに、バータスプロ破りました。昇格組のマチコ。そしてフナティックとシークレット4対7でシークレット。そして BDS よく勝ちましたね。バーチューがラストラウンドでコネクションロスをするしたにもかかわらず、実に8-7。これ大きいですね。そしてジェンジーとワイルドは8-7でジェンジーという形で順位表を見ておきましょう。こちらです。シークレット1位浮上。マジか。10ポイントです。3勝1敗ですが、オーバータイムでの1敗なんでね。同じく3勝1敗ですが、9ポイントでファルコンズ。ラウンドリファレンスの差ですね。1ラウンドしか変わりません。G2 が同じく3勝1敗なんですが、9ポイントなんですが、ラウンドリファレンスでファルコンズの上と で、8ポイントに交代したバータスプロが。バータスプロだから今週全然良くなかったね。2ポイントしか取れなかったのかな。まあ全然ってことはないけど。で、マチコすげえ !7 ポイントで5位まで上がってきました。そして BDS も6ポイントで6位と。まあちょっとまだわかんないけど、ここが2ポイント開くところなので、一つここがラインかもしれないですね。フナティック、ウルブズ、ジェンジーワイルド。ウルブズはもうちょいいけると思うんだけど、ちょっと厳しいですかね。ちょっと厳しいっすね。内容見てると。BDS は全然いける気するけどね。さっきも言った通り武器がないんで、トップ6には残れるかなと思うけど、BO3 になった時に勝てる道筋があんまり見えん。マチコの方がまだ可能性を感じる。はい。というわけで、今日も長時間見ていただきありがとうございます。